you and I. Not surprised by what I found, 'cause I know I needed something different, and it had to be you. Out the blue, somebody who would listen, and it had to be you. Out of all the people to require my love, couldn't be just anyone. But baby, it had to be you,
Hey, good morning, everybody. How are you? Hope you're doing well. Please take a second to like and in particular share today's show. Today's show, among other things, my local topic is I want to break down issue 3 for you. Hey, what's up, Jesse? Thank you so much, brother. Appreciate you. I want to break down issue 3. You know, for some folks on the outside looking in, it's a very complicated issue. There might be some elements of this that you're like, hey, I can get down with that. But is it overall a good idea for the city? Is it overall a good idea for Black voters in the city of Cincinnati? Is it a good idea for creative folks in the city of Cincinnati? I want to give you a strong opinion about that this morning. So as always, this show is offered free of charge to you. All I would ask is that you take a little bit of time and share today's show. When you share the show, quite frankly, more people see it. Also, I want to look forward. You know, I'm a futurist. I like to think of myself as a futurist. I sit around sometime and just think about the future. And I've been sitting around thinking about the future of Cincinnati and my vision for what I would like our great city to become. And I want to share those thoughts with you this morning. Plus, there's a smattering of other topics related to people, politics, and pleasure that I must share with you this morning. And I'm ready for it. So again, buckle up, get ready. It's the Nathan Ivey Show. Cincinnati's first daily digital talk show that focuses on the Black community. Good morning to you. Please like and in particular share today's show, and we'll get started in just a couple of minutes.
NathanIvey.com. Mr. Ivy know the show must go on. As far as Cincinnati, man, I put on. Tunes made another flame beat for me to cook on. Raised dogs, close this year, too strong. Team AI, chop it up at the chop shop. Top notch with the king flow, the hot shot. Cop squats in, listen to the real. Jumping like hopscotch, nobody harder than, oh, no, think not. Not only citywide, but nationwide. Superlative, keep it locked like them Haitian guys. Put the truth in the airwaves, we talk about it. Brand new like the templates, let's be about it. Who got the info about it? Hey, yo, John will be the rapper, got them jamming when they play him. Staying in my lane, they ain't gotta okay him. Who the host with the scoop? Yeah, they gon' say him. Ivy, so superlative like a bag of Drippos. Show you where the Brits at, Cincinnati Reds at. One time where my people at. Team NI where my people at. It's the 513, yeah, you know the flow. What's the word, Nate? Let them know the show. One time where my people at. Team NI where my people at.
Hey, good morning, everybody. How are you? Hope you're doing well. Let's get back into it. Another beautiful day in the neighborhood. We made it. It's a beautiful Wednesday. It's a beautiful Wednesday. Yes, good morning to you. Thank you so much for being here. Please take a second to like and in particular share today's show. I'll say it again. When you share the show, more people see it, and we want as many people to see the show as possible every single morning. I want to spread the gospel of flow. Good morning. Good morning to you. Good morning. Hope you're doing well. Hope your world is well. It's been about 24 hours since we were together, and I'm ready to talk. I'm ready. Hope you're ready to talk. It's a lot to discuss this morning. Hey, listen, if you want to share your thoughts, it's pretty simple. You can jump inside the chat room this morning. You can always do that. Hey, there it is. Welcome to my home. This is my home studio slash office slash library. This is where I really live. These are real books. That's a real lamp. Those are real plants. It's a real plant. That's a real mixer back there that I used to use for the show. Good morning to you. Welcome back. Welcome back. Welcome back. And if you're asking yourself, Nate, did he really read all those books? Not all of them, but the majority of them, yes, I did. Some of the wifey's family books mixed in there, all kinds of types of dope stuff to increase your brain power. Good morning to you. Hope you're doing well. Hope you're doing well. Let me flash my number. And this is a direct line. You can call straight into the studio this morning at 513-873-7134. It's a free call anywhere in the country and in most places around the world. Okay. If you're trying to call me from Sri Lanka or someplace in around the world and you're having some issues, then hit me up on direct message on social media and I'll see what I can do. I only have so much power, only so much I can do, but it's a free call anywhere in the country and some places around the world. I'll pay for it so you don't have to, because I want to hear your thoughts. Again, 513-873-7134. Now, the only maxim or rule that goes along with that is you have to open your mind before you open your mouth. That's it. Other than that, tick with a flick of the wrist. And that's it. You can be as creative as you want to be. You can call in with a name or whatever you want to do. As long as you're not on some dumbish, then we got time for it. You're on some dumbish, we have no time for it. We have no time for it. Good morning to you. Now, again, on today's show, I want to talk about issue 3. I'm going to get into it here just at the beginning of the show and give you some strong opinions about it. You may have already voted. If so, then it's already done for you. But if you have not voted, then this is something that if you live in the city of Cincinnati, you're going to have to deal with. Okay, so I want to talk about the pros and cons, and there are pros and cons of issue 3. And if you don't know, issue 3 consists of 8 measures in one amendment that, if passed by voters, would be enshrined in the city's charter. And I'll go through what those 8 things are in just a minute. But first, I want to get to the choppers, man. You already know. I want to say what's up. I want to get to the choppers. Ray Rice, Grand Risings all, or Good Risings all. Sharp Rice, good morning, Nate and Choppers. Good morning to you. Is it just me? Sidebar. But is it just me? But it seems like I'm seeing a lot of, or just as many, like videos of violent police interactions with citizens. Like, it seemed like it slowed down just a little bit after the summer of unrest last year, social unrest, and justifiably so. But it seems like it's back on this uptick. Cass is doing what dudes do. It's like, wow, what's going on out here? Is it just me? 513-873-7134. Also, don't forget, coming up today, midday juice with Ask Ashley. Basically, people send her questions about things that are going on with her life, and she responds in a way that's equal parts. She takes it serious, but also very humorous as well. She's got a very interesting and unique touch with that. So make sure you check her out today at 1 p.m. She'll be streaming live right here on Facebook. And then you can find her on her personal page and on her YouTube page as well. And then check her out. All right. Make sure you do that. And on today's show, let me just tease this very, very quickly. But on today's show, let me put the cover art for you so you can check this out. It's just something to break up the monotony of your normal day. You know what I'm saying? Offering you something different. Check this out right here. Yeah, let me throw all the other stuff off the screen. Yeah. My husband's ex-wife won't stay in her lane. Look at the X. Yeah, stay in your lane, X. You're the X for a reason. Look at this beautiful couple right here. They look so happy and bliss, but they got an X problem. And you'll get the details from Ashley later on today at 1 p.m. Make sure you check it out. All you got to do is go on Facebook. Just look at it. Check out your phone. You can watch it. You can chime in if you want to. You can call in if you want to and share your thoughts. You might be dealing with or have dealt with a similar situation. I don't know. Maybe. Maybe. Good morning to you. Brandy writes greetings. Good morning to you, Brandy. Anthony writes morning chop shop. Good morning to you, Anthony. Angela writes, good morning, Nate and the Choppers. Good morning to you. Yo writes, good morning, everyone. Maxine is in the house. She writes, good morning, everyone. No, that's Yo. Maxine writes, great grand risings to the righteous seekers. Brian writes, morning, GSW. Yeah, they did get a win last night. I didn't stay up for the game. I got up early this morning. I've been up since about 4. And I watched the highlights on YouTube. And we'll see what happens, man. I mean, like I said, I just love the basketball entertainment. I'm looking forward to seeing what all the ballers do. It should be a lot of fun. Did Kyrie show up? I'll say it again. Kyrie, shut up and dribble, man. Get your ass back out on that court, bro. That's where they need you. All that drip, drop, dip, dip, dip. We don't want to hear all of that. Shut up. Get back out there. Start dribbling and help your team win because they got smashed by the Milwaukee Bucks. So we'll see. And Golden State's a very dangerous team. We'll see what happens. Sarah writes, Grand Risings family. Jerome is in the house. I said, Jerome's in the house. He writes, good morning, Nate and the Choppers. King writes, pump, pump, pump it up. Share, share, share. Absolutely. Daryl writes, good morning. Good morning. Rothstein is here representing Colonel Sanders and Biggie. Okay, that's good to know. Good to know. Kush writes, Big Kush on the check-in. Good morning, kings and queens. Good morning to you. Sister V's in the house. She writes, Hotep Nathan and the Choppers. Virtual hugs to you all. Good morning to you. Chuck Dace is in the house. He writes, sup. Sean writes, good morning, Nate. King Nate and the Mighty Choppers. Good morning to you. Cleopatra Jones writes, Grand Risings, Nathan Ivy and the Choppers. Looks like Sean writes Eric Lindsay. I'm not sure that is. Jared's in the house. Good morning to you. He writes, good morning, team and I. Marisha writes, good morning. TNT's in the house. Good to see you. Tiffany writes, good morning. Carmelita writes, good morning, Nathan and the Choppers. Let me see. Nathan, Ashley isn't funny at all, Nathan. Well, maybe not to you. Yeah, you entitled to your opinion. Okay, great. That don't take away from what I think. Sarah writes, it ain't going away because the conservative SCOTUS will not get rid of qualified immunity. It's only going to escalate. Angela writes, I love midday juice. That's right, midweek juice, because now we're streaming it live on Wednesdays. So midday, midweek, a little something different for you. Anthony writes, like and share, fam. Charles writes, good morning. Good people, have a blessed day. Good morning to you. So last night, the people over with Cincy Nice and a lot of other good people came together. They put on a forum. I wasn't able to attend. I planned to it, but I wasn't able to attend. It was over at the 5 Points Alley. They live streamed on their Facebook page. You can check it out over there. And they had the mayoral candidates. And from what I gather, they wanted to get the perspective of a young Black Cincinnati, which, I think I know what that means, but it's so relative, right? But I get it. Also, the young Black professionals of Cincinnati were a part of that as well. Shout out to all the people involved. Like I said, man, I mean, we can't have enough of those kind of forums from every different perspective, especially when we talk about Black folks in the city of Cincinnati, to try to figure out who these individuals are. And it was interesting. I was looking for maybe some different questions and some different insights. I just want to learn. I want to learn as much as possible about what everybody thinks about the mayoral candidates and their approaches. And it was interesting. I'll say that. I hope they keep doing it. T. Greg, aka Black Russia, writes, good morning. He writes yes on issue 3. Is that right? Kelly writes, good morning. Tanika writes, good morning, Nate and the Chopper. So let me talk about issue 3 here. Let me just get it done. So that's midday juice. Again, coming up today at 1 p.m. So I'm not sure what you got going on, but tap in. Now, if you're subscribed to our video feed on Facebook, then when we go live with Midday Juice, you're going to get a notification. Don't ignore it. Tap on in. Tap on in as we build. We build every single day. Tap in. Good morning to you. But let me get back. That's the cover story right here. There it is. That's City Hall. Before you vote on issue 3, watch this video. So let's get into it. So what does issue 3 propose? Issue 3 consists, as I said earlier, of 8 measures in one amendment. And let me go through the 8 measures for you so we can talk about this. 1, in no particular weight of importance, but one, making council member salaries equal to the median household income for the city. That would mean that there's a strong possibility that if this passes, that council salaries would be cut by about $19,000. They would go from $65,000 a year to $46,000 a year. Number two, requiring council approval of all lawsuits filed by the city. Number three, doing away with the designee replacement system, which has been used to fill council vacancies since the 1920s, under which council members pick one or more fellow council members to choose his or her replacement. Number four, if a council member resigned or otherwise left council, his or her spot would go to the 10th place finisher in the last council campaign. Five, eliminating the mayor's pocket veto, where the mayor can choose never to place an item on the council agenda or even assign it to a committee. What is this? Five or six, requiring 1 year residency in the city to serve as mayor or council member. Seven, allowing individual liability of city employees for some violations of open meetings and public records law violations. To me, that seems like it is specifically targeted at what happened with the text messaging scandal. And last but not least, allowing for the recall of the mayor. Now, having read those to you, I'd like to know how they hit your ear and your brain. Do you agree or disagree with those proposals? Do you agree or disagree with those proposals? Just before we get into each and every one and talk about the overall impact, I mean, just maybe you're hearing it for the first time or you're hearing it for the first time in a long time. I'd like to know what you think about that. Do you think that those would be good ideas for the city? Would they be bad ideas for the city? What do you think? I want to know what you think about it. And I'll go over them again. Let's take it from the top and spend a little time on it. So number one, who thinks is a good idea to potentially cut city council salaries from $65,000 a year to $46,000 a year? You think that's a good idea? I want to get your thoughts about it right here, right now at 513-873-7134. Do you think that's a good idea? I want to know. Just think about it for a second. Do you think that's a good idea? My thoughts on it is I'm wondering how this so Tom Brink, let's back up and give you the backstory. So basically, this is authored by Tom Brinkman and what appears to be just him and his team. I don't know, and I can't remember if there was any avenues for community input on this. Tom Brinkman is a Republican. I don't know a lot about the man, but the last time I saw him, he was down on city council raising a lot of ruckus and a lot of hell and talking a lot of nonsense. He's actually running for city council right now. So this is kind of like his signature thing, right? You know, this allows him as he's running to say, hey, I'm really trying to do something about corruption, right? And, you know, I've got my feelings about people that are running on corruption in city council right now because it's low hanging fruit. Nobody's for corruptions. Everybody's anti-corruption. Okay, but what's the real deal here? Is this really about moving the city forward, or is this some old partisan bickering, Democrats versus Republican type of ish? You'll have to make your opinion about yourself. I've got my thoughts about it. So that's the author of it. So do you think it's a good idea to basically, and that's essentially what it would do, basically cut city council salaries from $65,000 a year to $46,000 a year? Do you think that's a good idea? Well, if we're dealing with corruption and we're dealing with perhaps city council members that are selling their votes for money, I just logically I don't understand how decreasing their pay by $19,000 helps that. If anything is going to feed into it, you know, they're getting paid less. That means that again, somebody out there might end up being more corruptible. I just don't understand it. And the other thing is, I understand the city council is supposed to be part-time, but we deserve full-time representation. I mean, do you think that if you cut city council salaries by $19,000, that will attract a different type of person? And if so, is that the kind of person that we want to be representing us on city council? It's something to think about. It's something to think about. Requiring council approval of all lawsuits filed by the city. Do you agree with that? You think it's a good idea? And do you think that if somebody leaves council, do you think that they should have they should have the ability to decide beforehand? That's what we've been doing so far. Like, I'm going to designate 2 people who are friends of mine, who are allies of mine. And if I leave city council, then these people are going to decide who's going to replace me. Or should it be, hey, listen, somebody leaves, whoever the next top vote getter was, that person steps up, boom. It makes sense. You know, it makes sense if you just take the next person, but I want to get your thoughts about it again at 513-873-7134. Eliminating the mayor's pocket veto, which gives the mayor of Cincinnati, you know, part of his strong mayor power, because he can decide whether city council is going to vote on something or not. Is that the kind of power that we want the mayor of Cincinnati to have? And while you're thinking about all of this, I mean, the more I think about it, like, any 1 or 2 of these things could be their own ballot amendment all by itself. Does anybody believe that there's a problem that they're all together on one measure, right? Would it be better if they were broken down into, let's say, 7 or 8 or 6 or 7, you know, different ballot initiatives that could stand on their own? I don't know. You tell me. Requiring a 1-year residency in the city to serve as a mayor or council member. Okay. Got to live in the city before you represent the city. Got a problem with that? I don't know. And allowing for the recall of the mayor. I'm for the recall of the mayor, but I'm for the recall of all public officials across the board. You know, I'll be willing to vote for that. All of them, city council, mayor, county. I don't care what it is. If you were elected by the people, then we should have a recall. But then it gets even deeper into what type of recall, right? You know, do you want to recreate what they did in California, what we always saw with Gavin Newsom? I don't think that's necessarily the best way to go. That problem and that procedure had some inherent flaws in it, namely that you could have somebody, you know, become the governor, or you could have somebody become the mayor who doesn't really have a real consensus of the votes here in the city of Cincinnati. But you might argue that because the turnout is so low in Cincinnati, that you don't have that anyway. So again, just a few thoughts before we get even deeper into it. I want to get your thoughts about it. 513-873-7134. I'd like to get your thoughts about it. I see Black Russia saying yes on issue 3. Brandy writes, good morning. Charles writes no on issue 3. Don't need the state to get involved with the city of Cincinnati. Sarah writes, yes. Yes. TNT writes, if Bessie Sunderman and Black Russia support it, I'm against it. Voting no. Really? Bessie Sunderman's for it. Tom Brinkman's for it. Coast is for it, or what's left of Coast is for it. It's a no for me, right? I ain't mad at you. Dale writes, I see the reason the operative Russia supports this position, right? Black Russia writes, city council is a part-time job. $46K is a great part-time job. I just don't understand. So what are the messages that we're sending by doing this? Like, do we want qualified people to step into the place to be on city council or not? I don't have a problem with council making $60-something thousand a year. You might even make an argument that's too low, quite honestly, to kind of get the quality person that we need. And we just saw a member of city council, Tamaya Denard, that basically leveraged the rest of her political career for $15,000. We just saw that. So how does that make sense? If corruption is a big deal right now, right? And everybody's like, oh, the developers have too much power. And oh, by the way, nothing has been done to stop that cycle of abuse, quite honestly. I mean, prospective city council members are probably still taking money from developers right now. And as a matter of fact, that's a pretty good question to ask them. If anybody's doing anything like that, I mean, are you taking money from developers? The same thing with the council, with the mayoral candidates. And if so, how much, who? We need to know. We still don't know. But how does it make any sense? So we saw one member of city council, that's Tamaya Denard. She was looking for 15 grand. So the response is to cut council salaries by 19,000. It just doesn't make, I don't understand what the point is. I don't get it. Angela writes, yes, if it's a part-time job. Yeah, but who, is it really a part-time job though? I guess. I mean, they have recessed for a while. Is it really a part-time job? Like, is the business of running the city of Cincinnati a part-time job? I don't care what they say or what's written. Is it really a part-time job? I don't think it really is. I think that job is 24/7. You know what I'm saying? Like, If you see a council member at the grocery store and you want to ask them a question, you don't want to hear no BS about how, well, I'm off the clock right now. You don't want to hear that. You know, crime is full time in the city. All the issues that we're dealing with in the city are full time issues, right? Housing, disparities, uh, crime, infrastructure, right? Gentrification is 24/7, right? Gentrification is working 24/7. Gentrification don't take no days off. So I don't expect a member of city council to take any days off. So I know that's what's written and is what's said, but I don't know if that's what I'm not looking for that, quite honestly. I'm looking for somebody that's going to be full time. And every last one of these men and women who are running right now, if you ask them right now before the election, what's going to be your approach? Are you going to approach this like it's a full-time or a part-time job? Every last one of them is going to say what? Full-time. They better. Negro, I'm not paying for you to be on council part-time. Hell to the no, I get somebody else down there. You know what I'm saying? I mean, when you get that email or phone call from constituents, they want to respond immediately. I don't want to hear about this. Well, I'm off until Sunday. We don't want to hear that. I don't want to hear that. So I look at council as full time. I'm looking for people that's going to look at council as full time. Period. And I feel like you should get paid for the work that you do. Yo, check it. If you want people to be able to resist the temptation of corruption, well, then you're going to have some money, and they need to be able to cover the basics. Right? That's just me. Kamika writes, the salary cut doesn't make sense to me. Council may be part-time on paper, but it's not a part-time job. Correct, Armando. TNT writes, it's funny how they want the author of this measure after many on council and the current mayor is on his way out the door. Right. We needed this 10 years ago. Black Russia writes, the last 4 years have been unprecedented corruption. The citizens have to fix things. We can't trust council to fix themselves. # Gang of Five. I think there's an element of truth in the fact that when it comes to the issue of corruption, that the citizens' opinion should be heard. So, for instance, Greg Lansman introduced something that you can look up on it as being anti-corruption. Basically, he wanted to either create a website or to update the city's website so that when donations come in, council members would have to update who the donation was inside of 2 weeks or to a month. There were some other ideas that went along with it, but I thought, okay, that's about transparency. So now I can go on a website and within a 2-week or 30-day period, I can see who's giving to whom. And then that might give me some idea as to what I see in the open council meetings. Now I know why a particular council member, or it may give me some insight as to why council members are voting the way they're voting. And then I can hit them up and say, oh, you voting this way because you got money from the XYZ developing company, right? But everybody voted against it except for Greg Lansman. I thought, okay, that's strange. Thought you guys were anti-corruption. Regina writes, good morning, fam. Good morning to you. Sarah writes, if you're doing that job properly, the salary is appropriate. Really? I just don't understand the rationale behind it. It just seems like an attempt to try to change the type of person that might even consider running for city council. And I don't know if that's to the benefit of us or not. And then again, I say, if money is an issue, how is taking money away from council members going to solve corruption? I don't get that. It doesn't make any sense. It's not computing. Daryl is writing to Angela. Angela, origins of this proposal make this skeptical. The devil's in the details. Brinkman's a Republican. I'll pass. Yeah, the fact that Tom Brinkman's behind it does make it very suspicious to me. Like I said, I don't know a lot about the guy, but I saw him work within the last couple of weeks down to city council, and we don't need him on city council. All he's going to do is yell and complain and try to sow division and talk about the Gang of Five. That's all he's going to do. That's all he's going to do. All he's going to do is grandstand and talk a whole bunch of dumb ish and giggle and laugh and then run back to 700 WLW like he really did something. And he's going to powwow with Willie and all the other talk show hosts on that station and then run back to city council and talk about the Gang of Five and text, man. That's all he's going to do. That's all he's going to do. How do we know? That's what he just did. That's what he just did. It's all he's going to do. He's going to run down there and cause a whole bunch of chaos. And we don't need that. However, this city has shown a desire to keep at least one or two Gilligans on city council, right? They love the circus. They criticize it, but they keep putting clowns down there, right? Some of these folks down the dial, they'll criticize city council and call it clownsel. Like they got a host that'll refer to it as clownsel, but then he supports all the clowns. It's the craziest thing ever. I've heard him. I won't say his name because he ain't saying my name, so bumping him, but I'm just saying. You know, he'll sit on his show and talk about clownsel, but then when clowns come on your show, you let them get away with it. I say enough of that. Nikki writes, good morning. Good morning to you, Nikki. Daryl writes, some items are good, but not all. Right. As I look at this, there's some things that are good on here, but I wish it wasn't all lumped together. You know what I'm saying? If it was individually packaged, I'd be cool with it. But all lumping all this shit together, I think it's just like, I think the author of it realized what he's trying to do. You know what I'm saying? I'm going to put a little bit of sugar here so it can oh boy, look at your face. The camera's right there. Show the people what broke, man. It broke or you broke it? It broke. It just broke on its own? Oh, okay. So what are we going to do now? Throw it away?
You're gonna fix it.
Oh, I'm going to fix it, huh? Oh, boy. Okay.
And we still need to do YouTube video.
That's right. We will do our YouTube video. How'd you break? You sit on this or something, bro? What you do? Oh, you were stretching it. Oh, okay. So you did break it. Okay. I don't know if I can fix this right now, man. I think it's broken. No, we didn't. I didn't. So you got to rock it. I have some Gorilla Glue. I'll have to do it tomorrow or later today. You're going to wear the shoes that's in your hand and it'll be good enough today. This guy. Kamiki right, is Brinkman called a part of Coast? Why I want to say yeah. I want to say yeah, but I don't know. I don't think I don't know. I don't want to speak on it. I don't know. He's definitely on some dumbish though, 100%. Again, he was down at city council. They had this special meeting and he was super disrespectful to Jan Michelle Kearney. He was super disrespectful to the city. He was so disrespectful that everybody's favorite Democrat/Republican, John Cranley, he actually was in the paper criticizing Tom Brinkman, saying he owes the city apology. He was on some stupid-ish, man. And I'm all for the drama. Don't get me wrong. I love a little drama. You know what I'm saying? As long as it's not in my business, in my life, I'm with it. But I'm like, man, I don't got time for this. I'm not putting you on city council to come down here and run around and call people names and point fingers. And we got enough of that with Smitherman. He's leaving. So let's try something different. You know, let's put some people down there that's responsible. Even if they're Republicans, some responsible Republicans that kind of want to work together. Okay, if you're Republican and you got your Republican ideology and your points, I have no problem with that. Great. It'll be good for the city. But if you just want to cause a bunch of problems and talk a bunch of ish, then get a podcast. You know what I'm saying? Get a podcast. Say Rod writes, too much language in this proposal reminds me of pork in the House bills. TNT writes, they are taking things you would like and mixing it with things that is a no-go. That means they need to go back to the drawing board and take out the BS. I would agree with you. That's my assessment of it as well. The authors of issue 3 are not dumb. They know what they're doing. Give it to your mother. She told you to give it to me and I'm on the air? She said she didn't tell you that. Well, you making up stuff, man. Oh, okay. Anyway, yeah, they know what they're doing, TNT. They know what they're doing. They're mixing stuff that people are, I think, in favor of. So there's some things on here I think people are in favor of, right? It's a couple things that kind of make sense, like allowing for the recall of the mayor. Like after what we've seen with John Cranley and in politicians in general, people are favorable to those kind of ideas, right? Eliminating the mayor's pocket veto. People are open to those ideas because they don't want an obstinate mayor that's going to use his legislative power, his charter power, to try to stop and stall the progress of the people, right? Of a majority of city council, right? I get it. I get it. Some things in here I think um uh reforming or revamping the way that you replace a council member that resigns, right? It makes sense. You just pick up the 10th spot finisher, right? It makes sense. He or she got the 10th most votes, so there must be some support in the city. But some of these other things, I ain't feeling it. I'm not feeling it. I would tell voters to really, really think long and hard, right? Because we don't have to vote for this right now. And, the authors can go back to the drawing board and come back next time and maybe whittle this down so that maybe we can deal with this piece by piece in a way that I think would make more sense. But that's just my opinion about it. You got to tell me what you think. Dale writes, I believe this is a way for the minority Republicans to keep power over the majority of Democratic people in the city, like an apartheid system. I've heard that, but how does that work? How would that work exactly? I've heard that. Nat writes, part-time job with full-time responsibility. That means it's a full-time job. I don't know. I'm not on council. You have to talk to council members, but I would imagine they're probably taking emails and responding to phone calls and going to meetings and dealing with all kind of stuff 24/7 all the time. All the time. And some are going to be more of an emergency than others. Some are going to be more important than others, right? But I can't see them ever being off, right? TNT writes, they don't want young, innovative people to run. They want old, retired, recycled candidates or people who have a great job and don't need counsel to run. Both Kevin Flynn and Goodman said at the end of our forum they don't need this. If they get it, great. They did both say that. And TNT, I think you're exactly right. I think you're exactly right. They're trying to, because I have no problem with paying for what needs to be paid for. But you're right. Same retired folks, corporate types, those kind of folks, the folks that can afford to have a part-time job or a job like that only pays 40-something thousand dollars a year. You're right. You're right. And Flynn and Goodman both said that. And I thought that was curious. I thought it was curious. And I'm like, I'll be honest with you. And Flynn and Goodman may not like this, but so what? It was when they said that, since you brought up TNT, when they said that during the NAACP forum, looking back, because if I felt that way in the moment, I would have checked it. But looking back over it, I wondered, do they say the same thing at all the forums? Because it's kind of like, hey, vote for me or don't for me, black. Vote for me or don't vote for me, black community. I don't really care. It was kind of like that. Like, that's a hell of a thing to say. Like, I don't really need this job. Well, if you don't really need this job, then what in the are you doing here? Why are you doing the forum? You know what I'm saying? That's a hell of a thing to say when you at a forum. You know what I'm saying? I wouldn't say that. Like, what are you trying to communicate? What are you trying to communicate to the community? Like, the only way I can look at it is that what they're saying is that they don't really need you. That's the way it came across to me. And that's why I asked. I haven't tapped in. Like, when they went to the West Side Forum, did they tell them at the end of their spiel, like, hey, I'm retired. I got plenty of money coming in. I don't really need this. That's a hell of a thing to say. That's a hell of a thing to say. And it says a lot about the mentality of both of those men. I'm gonna be honest, they said it. So if they said it, if they bold enough to say it, I'm bold enough to break down what they said. Love you too, love. What time for pickup today? Okay, looking good. Looking okay. I love you. All right. That's medium Buddha, my daughter. Yeah, that's a hell of a thing. And see, the fact that TNT is bringing this up again, it must have struck you as well. See, it didn't hit me in a moment because I'd have been like, what can you just say? What are you trying to communicate? I would have checked them right then and there. But I didn't think about it until afterward. And now you're saying this, it's jogging the memory again. That is a hell of a thing to say at a political forum. Hey, listen, I don't really need this. So I'm going to go ahead and scratch your ass off right now then, since you don't need this. Because we need this. We need this. This is important. That's a hell of a thing to say. Do they just say that when you talk to the NAACP? When you talk to black folks, or are they saying that everywhere? Because it's like you spend all this time selling yourself and then you say, well, I don't really need this. Let me ask you a question. For anybody out there who might be thinking, oh, Nate, you making a big deal out of it. Let me ask you a question. Have you ever gone to a job interview? I know I have. Been on plenty of them. No matter what your circumstances, have you ever said during a job interview, near the end of the interview, like you've been talking for 30 minutes or an hour, depending on how long it is. How many people ever say, you know what? I don't really need this job. You know, if I get it, I get it. If I don't, I don't. You ain't getting it. So flip it. Let's say you are interviewing somebody for a job on wherever you work at. You spend 30 minutes interviewing them. They talk about all of their resume, their experience, everything they've done, all the things they're going to bring to the table. And then they say near the end of the interview, yo, check it. I don't really need this. If I get the job, I get the job. If I don't, I don't. Would they get the job? Would you hold that against them? You damn right you will hold it against them. You'd be like, oh, we don't need you. And that's what these two men said during the NAACP forum in front of everybody, like it was nothing. Like it was nothing. So yesterday I was watching on Facebook a forum they did over yesterday, and you got two people running for mayor. Neither one of them at the end of it say, you know what? I don't really need this. If I become mayor, I become mayor. If I don't, I don't. Huh? What? Okay. Thank you for jogging my memory, sis. I appreciate it, because that was very telling. I was very, very, I don't really need this. I bet they don't say that when they go talk with them people in Hyde Park. I bet you damn well that Kevin Flynn and Steve, you said Goodman, but Gooden. I bet you damn well they didn't say at the end of their spiel, well, listen, I don't really need this. I'm retired. I've got money in the bank. Damn what you think. I don't really need. Who does that? Who does that? Thank you for reminding me. Appreciate that. Say right. Keep that in mind. You can't get my vote. So if you don't need it, I don't need you. I want you to need it. I want it to matter to you to be on city council. I want it to mean everything to you, because it means everything to us. It means everything. Sarah writes, I wouldn't work it like a part-time job, nor would I. It's not a part-time job. When you work for other people and the people like that, it's not a part-time job. It's 100% full-time job. In fact, it's an overtime job. Ain't no damn part-time job. Daryl writes, pay those people. Eloise, aka Elo. I call you Elo. Elo's in the house. She writes, good morning. Happy Wednesday. Akeem writes, morning, let's wake it up. The American government doesn't negotiate with terrorists, right? So how could the government pay them hackers who took the hostages of gas pipelines and millions of Bitcoin, but refused to pay that Haitian gang 17 million who want reparations, especially after being whipped like slaves on the border? Paybacks a biatch. Let's go to the phones. Good morning. Welcome to the show.
Good morning, Nate. This is Daryl from Atlanta.
What up, Daryl?
Brother?
What up, Daryl from Atlanta? Welcome, brother.
What's up? I just noticed, some of the things you were talking about, that proposal that Brinkman offered, and you ran down each one of those points. Like I said, some of them are pretty good. But when I look at Republicans, I'm going to just say this. The Republican dogma here in Georgia, there in Ohio, and all over the country, man, this is about power, and people need to see it and vote from that. I mean, they need to have that lens in mind when they're voting. These people are about anybody that's still calling themselves a Republican at this point in time, and Trump is running the party. I mean, our Trump-like people are. This is about a power grab, man. And that's why I mentioned the apartheid system, because I think if you look into details, because you just laid out the bullet points, but if you really dug into the details of what he's proposing, I guarantee you there's a power grab somewhere along the line that's going to keep And that's why I said the majority, which is Democratic in in the city of Cincinnati, i.e., Black people. And when you talk about voting electorate, and then the minority, white Republicans, that, you know, even though Black people and Democrats have the most vested interest in the city, but the power is going to be controlled by Republicans. And this is happening all over the country. This isn't about politics and whose ideas are better. And, you know, I have conservative platform. Man, this is all about power. And it's all over the country. And I just believe, I would like to get your thoughts on, I know we have 2022 coming up outside of your local election here, and I just voted locally here for, you know, city council and mayor. But in 2022, I think we have to have a discussion, you know, if the Democrats don't get anything done, and I know that's a tough sell if they don't get stuff done, but I mean, what's the alternative? To not vote and say, well, see, they didn't do anything, and then we let the Republicans in, and they're going to want apartheid South Africa. I mean, go read a book. Go look at some documentaries on how apartheid South Africa. I mean, you'll have a country with the majority of people of color, which is approaching fast, if it's not already there, because I believe there's some undercount in the census. They're going to be ruling. You're going to have a minority of people ruling over people of color. What do you think about that?
What are you asking me exactly?
Like, do you see this as a battle of ideas with the Republicans and Democrats, or do you see it like I see it as a power grab?
It's a power grab. It'd be great if it was a battle
Okay.
of ideas, and then the public can decide, the electorate can decide, but it's not. I mean, these Republicans want to legally rig the system in their favor so they can never lose. But that's their overall plan, though.
Right.
I mean, this is like a 30, 40-year plan for the Republican Party. I've said it before.
Mm-hmm.
I know it for a fact. The Republican Party wants to be the Harlem Globetrotters to the Democrats' Washington Generals, right? So you go to a Globetrotter game,
Mm-hmm.
there's a game, right? And ostensibly at the beginning, you don't know who's going to win, but the game is rigged. The Globetrotters are going to win every single time, right? And the Washington Generals are like the little stepbrothers that, you know, it's kind of like, you get your little brother, you got your head on his head, and he's like swinging, but his arms are too short to really box with you. That's what they want to do to the Democrat Party. And in some cases, they've been successful by taking over state legislatures and now the Supreme Court.
And they're very successful at messaging. So much so that they have our people thinking, well, what does my vote matter? See, they're not doing anything. Man, I'm telling you, that is a ploy of Republican politics. That's a narrative, and what gets me is we fall for it. You got to see it for what it is. If you look at it from a power play lens, just remove the ideas and stuff and just look at it like, ultimately, what is their goal? And that's to have more power, even though they're in the minority in numbers, is that we're going to rule over you anyway. That's why I used apartheid. That's what it's all about. Hey, Nate, nice talking to you. Keep it real, bro.
Yep, take it easy all day, every day. Like I said it before, when I was in college, I used to read these periodicals. I was a voracious reader, just trying to expand my brain and learn as much as possible about whatever I could. And I was interested in politics. And I used to read these Republican journals over at the University of Cincinnati. You go to the library, and any journal, any periodical that you wanted, any newspaper, it was right there. So I would just sit there and just read. I was reading the Village Voice. I was reading a lot of conservative stuff, just trying to figure out who I was, how I looked at the world. And I came across many, many articles about the Republicans' grand plan 25 years ago, which is what I just told you. They want a unipolar system. It's them here, 1A, and then 1B is a Democrat Party. And it might work. That's why they've taken over, along with ALEC and these other organizations. They've been very successful at taking over state legislatures. And he's right. The Republican Party is really good at seizing upon messaging, right? Oh, defund the police. Somewhere there was like, oh, yes, thank you. Thank you. We can use this. And they use it like a charm. And you'll see Republican candidates across the country that's on stat. And that's because they have a vast network that you may or may not be tapped into with emails and messaging boards and websites where they communicate every single day. Daily stuff goes out in terms of talking points on how conservative talk show hosts to conservative politicians can respond and should respond to certain issues. Goes out every single day. Here's the top issue. Here's the issue. Here's how you should respond. Literally, you think I'm joking? Literally. That's why they all sound the same. That's why they all sound and say the same thing from state to state, because they all tapped into the same messaging center. And that's great organization for them. I ain't mad at them. It is what it is. Then you do you. But again, what do you think about issue 3? Are you at this point for issue 3 or against issue 3? It needs to be said that the Hamilton County Republican Party has unanimously endorsed the amendment, saying that it's the only true reform initiative. Do you agree with that? Do you agree with that? I don't know. The Democratic Party, the Charter Party, is against it. The current mayor, David Mann and Avtab Pureval, are both against it, whatever that means. Charter Committee President Derek Dansby, he spoke with WVXU some time ago, quote, "It's not about the issues, it's about the process. It was put together without any input from the community, without any public discussion on the issues. It's a very dangerous thing that to have that many amendments on one ballot issue. It's not the way it should be. Voters shouldn't be forced to cast an all or nothing vote." I agree with that. That's one of the biggest issues I have with it. It's all or nothing. There's some smaller parts of it that I agree with, but when those smaller parts and put into the larger whole, it becomes a lot less appetizing to me. And I have serious doubts about what the overall impact of it will be and if it'll be great for our community or not. I mean, if we like these ideas, we can have them go back to the drawing board, scale it down a bit, and we can vote on this piece by piece. It can be done better. What's the big rush? Sandra writes, hi, good morning, Sandra M. Jones Mitchell. Washington City needs full-time leaders. Angela writes, oh, well, we'll see once the voters cast their ballots. Synovia writes, stay woke and vote, period. Just want the I have a dream speeches need to stop. Just do it. The job is to help and serve the people who voted for you. Oh, absolutely. Good morning to Synovia. Sister V writes, the devil's in the details. Each issue, while important, should be separated and individually reviewed. Agreed. Absolutely. Charles writes, Grand Risings, Nate and the Choppers. Good morning to you. Angela writes, I think people who signed the petitions knew exactly what they were putting on the ballot, just like the 2-year terms. Kamar writes, good morning. TNT writes, Brinkman created the House bill that would eliminate drop boxes entirely and other voter suppression measures, worse than House Bill 294. It's on ice at the State House because even Republicans don't like it and see it as affecting their base. Yeah, son was here. Gorilla Glue will get the job done. Yes, it will. It's not for your hair. TNT writes, Brinkman is one of the founders of Coast. He's the OG. Okay. All right. I know you would know because you love you some Coast, don't you, Black Russia? Is he one of the founders of Coast? I don't think too highly of Coast, quite honestly. I mean, I'm cool. We need tax watchdogs, but to me, they just use that as an excuse to put money in their pocket. They just use that as an excuse to put tens of thousands, if not hundreds of thousands of dollars in their pocket by suing the city. And then really using that as a front to go after Democrats, on some partisan-ish. That's just my opinion. Stop buying Junior headsets. Been through the same thing, same reason. LOL, it broke on its own. That headset's been broke, man. The cord's broke on it. He just likes to walk around the house with the headset on when he's playing. It's been broken. It don't work. But now it's broken. Angela writes, good morning, Junior. Poor baby broke his headphones. It's over, Dad. Buy a new pair. LOL, Junior, have a great day. He's not getting a new pair of headphones. He don't need them. He wears those when he's on his drums. Those headphones don't work. Naisha's in the house. Good to see you, Naisha. Kamar writes, issue 3 is horrible ballot measure. They claim it's to stop corruption in City Hall, but it's full of crap. The language is vague and is going to tarnish the democracy of the city. Sonovi said we're freezing. TNT writes, what's the city NAACP doing politically other than forums? Do they have any legislative wins post Smitherman? I will wait. TNT writes, despite allowing Cranley to abuse it for 2 terms. Right, pretty much. Let me see. Kamar writes, issue 3 was funded by Dark Money PAC. Is that right? Is that right, sis? Huh. Interesting. Susan writes, it's a bologna sandwich, straight out of the Republican playbook. Pack something controversial between layers of more enticing legislation and slip it past the people. Somebody is smart. We got some smart people in here this morning. I love it. Black Russia writes, no one is going back to drawing board. Issue 3 is here. Everyone else criticizing issue 3. What's your plan? Well, we don't necessarily have to have a plan per se. We're talking about the plan that's going to be on the ballot. So that's a valid enough conversation in and of itself. Kamara writes, some of the ballot language is so vague that the authors couldn't explain some of the language. Then they got a little upset and went downtown and will start raise of hell. Jason writes, what's up, Nate family? Hey, good to see you, Jason. Black Russia writes, they might have said that to NAACP because they know this current administration isn't very influential and maybe a total of 20 people watch all 6 forums. That's not true. No, I think they said that because, and again, I can't speak for Steve Gooden and I can't speak for Kevin Flynn, but I just think that's a hell of a thing to say at a job interview. Like, yo, check it. How many people have ever went to a job interview and at the end of the job, near the end of the interview, you say to the people that you're who are interviewing, you say, well, you know what? I don't really need this job. I mean, if I get it, I get it. If I don't, I don't. Huh? Say what? Say it again, please. I don't really need this job. You know, if I get it, I get it. If I don't, I don't. You're not going to get the job just right off of that. They're going to X you out. I thought it was an interesting thing to say. And again, I haven't been to all the forums, every little minute of it. I've seen a lot of the virtual ones. I don't know if they made that same comment to other people, to other demographics in the city. If not, it's very interesting. Let me see. T-Greg writes, they probably wouldn't say that to Hyde Park because Hyde Park votes. Yeah, but you know what I think was missed in all of the conversation about who votes and who don't vote, because we know that you got, you know, some precincts in which you know heavily populated by African Americans, by Black folks, and their numbers are not where we want them to be. But I think that people are discounting the thousands of Black people that actually do vote every single election. We can't discount them. Right. It's always funny how when it comes to Black folks, we want to harp on the negative. Right. We want to gravitate to the most negative part of the conversation. Yeah, there's a lot of room to grow inside the Black electorate in Cincinnati for sure. But don't overlook the Black folks that actually do vote. There's many of them. Can't overlook them. Good morning, Samantha. Good to see you. Good to see you. Tanika writes, I really don't need the job equals I don't really care. In my opinion, right? Absolutely. Kev on the cell writes, morning, good people. Help someone vote today. Okay, he's talking to the people here. Junior deserves some Beats headphones. I'm not buying that boy no Beats headphones for $100. I tell you what, if you want to make a donation, you go right ahead. I don't think that's good money spent because he's 6. He don't know what to do with no Beats by Dre. And I don't F with Dre like that because he beats women. Even though he sold his interest to Apple, I understand. But no, I don't mess with Dre like that. I wouldn't buy Beats by Dre. Well, I can afford Beats by Dre, and I don't buy Beats by Dre. It's just, you got to have a code. You got to have a standard. I see it's a little bit after 8. I'm a little behind schedule here, so let's catch up. Want to remind you that early voting is taking place right now here in Hamilton County. You can early vote today. You can early vote today here in Hamilton County at the Hamilton County Board of Elections over at 4700 Smith Road in Norwood, Ohio. You can call ahead if you've got a reason to or a question, a comment at 632-7000. We'll take a quick break and come right back Don't go anywhere.
Good morning, Choppers. I'm Scotty Johnson, candidate for Cincinnati City Council. Unfortunately, injustice remains in the city of Cincinnati. A remedy for injustice is courageous, bold leadership. I plan on bringing that type of leadership to City Hall. It's time to stop talking about it and to start doing something about it. Disparities have been in Cincinnati far too long. I'm the candidate to address those disparities. Vote Scotty Johnson for Cincinnati City Council.
Paid for by friends of Scotty Johnson.
This is former Mayor Dwight Tillery, and I'm asking you to vote for Attorney Elizabeth Tye for municipal judge.
At a time like this,
we need Attorney Elizabeth Tye on the bench so that justice can roll down like a mighty stream.
At a time like this,
I'm licensed in Ohio, the federal courts, including the United States Supreme Court, and I know who will make a good judge like Attorney Elizabeth Tye.
At a time like this,
I've known Attorney Elizabeth Tye all of her life, and she believes in equal justice and will make sure those in her courtroom will get a fair trial.
At a time like this,
Attorney Elizabeth Tye is a woman of great integrity, courage, and experience who has built a great law practice. She will be accountable to the people and not go along just to get along.
At a time like this,
I'm Attorney Elizabeth Tye, and I'm asking for your vote for municipal court judge on November 2nd.
Paid for by the committee to elect Democrat Elizabeth Tye for municipal judge.
Former Mayor Dwight Tillery asking you to vote for my friend, Michelle Dillingham, who is a Democrat running for Cincinnati City Council. The black population in our city has declined, pushing black homeowners out while speculators purchase their houses for pennies on the dollar. Black people are being foreclosed on because of rigged housing and economic systems.
Michelle Dillingham will fight for you. This is Victoria Strawn. You know me, Sister V. City Council prefers investing in a soccer stadium and gentrifying our historic neighborhoods. Malcolm X said that if you don't own land, you're nothing but a squatter.
Come on, Michelle, talk to the people.
City Council is being sued for discriminatory tax abatement programs that unfairly enrich wealthy white neighborhoods. I know because I've been fighting for reform for years. Isn't it time to elect a candidate who will stand up for the people over special interests? Vote for me, Michelle Dillingham, Democrat for Cincinnati City Council.
Paid for by Dillingham for Council Committee.
Can't sleep.
It's hard to pay attention in school.
I say mean things.
I keep getting in trouble.
I bully other kids.
I'm just scared.
No one sees my pain.
Sometimes I want to die.
So many of our children are facing trauma, but instead of seeing their pain and fear, we're labeling them bad, troubled, delinquent, or criminal. Let's look beyond their behaviors. Let's get them the help they need by helping them address the trauma they're facing.
Help me feel safe.
See me for more than my behaviors.
Understand that my actions are how I communicate my fears.
For more information, visit www.ohiostateofemergency.com. That's ohiostateofemergency.com.
I believe in you, me, you, me, you, me, you, me, yeah. I believe in you, me, you, me, you, me, you, me, yeah. Let's stay here for a lifetime underneath the moonlight, 'cause I don't want us to go. No, I don't want us to go. Yeah, you could be my lifeline, you could be my sunshine.
Good morning, everybody. Welcome back. Welcome back. Let's get back into it. Before you vote on issue 3, watch this video. We've been talking about it for the first hour. I don't anticipate talking about it for the next hour. I want to switch some things up. There's a lot of stuff going on in the city. And but feel free, though, like if you've been listening and you want to share something, you want to chime in, feel free to chime in on that particular topic. And I want to get your thoughts. For me, it's a no-go. I'll be honest with you on issue 3. I just feel like if these things were like, I think they should be broken down into smaller pieces. In sum total, I think it spells potential issues, some that you can foresee and some you potentially cannot foresee, but issues nonetheless. There's some things about it, you know, individually I think are great. But all kicked in together like that, I ain't feeling it. Not feeling it. But what do you think? And part of that is council salaries. I just don't understand how that helps corruption by paying council members less. What are you trying to do? You trying to rig the system so you only get a certain type of person? You know, like TNT said, you're only trying to get retirees and somebody that spent their whole life making a lot of cash. Now they got time. That's great. I'm sure they have something valuable. But if you, working class, you should have an opportunity to be on city council as well and should be compensated for it. So I understand it's part-time, but I feel like it's really overtime. It's really an overtime job in my opinion, but it's just me. Let me see. See, Rodney's in the house. Good morning to you, Rodney. Good to see you. He says morning, Choppers. No need to say anything to BR at all. Yeah, he can believe what he wants to believe. Joe writes, Grand Risings, Nathan Choppers. Good morning to you. Nat writes, my son been through like 4 pairs of headphones. Right. We ain't doing that. I already know. See, Black Russia still throwing hate for whatever reason. Let him do him. These Trump pansies are surely pissed because their man lost. Has anyone heard Let's Go Brandon? No, I haven't heard that. I'm not even sure what that is. What is that exactly? I don't know. I have no idea what that is. Nah. Ray writes, it's not just you, Nathan. They whoop A at home and then go out in the community and wimp out. Okay, some of them. Shut up and dribble. Right, I did say that about Kyrie. Some folks might understand it. I mean, I meant what I said. I mean, get your ass back out there on the court, Kyrie. With your brothers out there. They took the vaccine. You're a basketball player. Get out there and play basketball unless you're talking medical facts. And speaking of which, where's Al Capone? Let me check my thing is. Because people love to call in here trying to hold my feet to the fire. But then they don't follow up. Let me see here. Okay, 6. I'll definitely reach out, bro. I'm seeing this for the first time. Nothing from Al Capone. I need to send him a message because he was all in his feelings. Are you wrong? People like you, y'all got these shows. Y'all don't be having people on. There's qualified medical professionals to talk against the vaccine. It's kind of like you only want the people to have one side of information. I was like, oh, okay, really, Al? Okay, well, then you send me a link on whoever you're talking about. But no witch doctors. You know what I'm saying? No witch doctors. And that was last week. It's coming up on a week, Al Capone, and I've yet to hear from you. So let's expand it. If you're an anti-vaxxer and you feel like there are credible people out there who are speaking against it from a factual, medical, science standpoint, send me a link and I'll reach out to them immediately and try to get them on the show because I want to hear all opinions. Okay? I'm not interested in just one side of it. I want to see all the sides of it. But facts are facts. Science is science. And I stand by what I said. I have yet to hear, and I'm not saying it doesn't exist, but I have yet to see, anybody out here with any real credentials talking science that has said anything that would say that the vaccine is bad for you. I saw a white dude who said he was an epidemiologist. He was at some school board, but it was just a video. So if y'all have those kind of people, like you come across a video, somebody doing an interview or whatever, send it to me and I'll reach out to them so we can get the other side of the conversation. But if you're a Kyrie Irving type, you're a big time, somebody, you got millions of followers, you have to speak from facts and science, not just your opinion. You got to speak from facts and science. It's got to be that way. Anything less than that, you're doing a disservice. D Kit writes, good morning. Good morning to you, D Kit. Good to see you. TNT. Brian writes, the fact is it is part-time, says something about how the stayer sees it, a board position for the well-to-do to co-sign the prerogatives and actions of the boss class. Okay. All right, I get you. I understand what you're saying, I think. I understand. Let's go to the phones. Good morning. Welcome to the show.
Let's go, Brandon. Let's go, Brandon. What's up, Mr. Ivy?
What's going on? What is that? What did I miss? Educate us.
Well, this is the story. Mr. Ivy. When college football season started, and I think this originated at a SEC stadium. That's the Southeastern Conference. Teams like Alabama, teams like Georgia, they play in that conference. So when the season opened, stadiums were packed, but the Biden administration was still talking about vaccine mandates and all the other BS. So during the game, all of a sudden, a chant starts. And the chant was, F Joe Biden, the full word. I'm not going to say it on your show because it's kids still listening, but the chant was, F Joe Biden, F Joe Biden. So it started to spread, and only one media network was reporting it. So I think it was 2 weeks ago, there was a NASCAR racer, first name Brandon, who won a race, and he was being interviewed by a female host. So in the background, you could hear, F Joe Biden, F Joe Biden. So this loyal broadcaster for this network said, oh, Brandon, can't you hear? Even the fans are cheering for you. Don't you hear? They're cheering, go, let's go, Brandon. So people on social media, they picked up on that, and they start hashtagging, let's go, Brandon. So if you ever hear, let's go, Brandon, it's really F Joe Biden. So that's the story behind Let's Go Brandon, if you ever see that hashtag anywhere. And so, Mr. Ivy, again, I heard Daryl's call, and I just want to say, it looks like, and it sounds like, Biden remorse as well as Democrat Party remorse is starting to set in, because the Democrats in the Congress, in the Senate, and the House, they will pass a bill. But the question is, Mr. Ivy, will they have any Republican votes, or will they have to go solo with reconciliation? And that's the big fear for Nancy Pelosi, Chuck Schumer, and President Biden, because they do not want to put a major sweeping legislation like Obamacare through Congress with no Republican votes, because they know in 2010, when Obama passed Obamacare with no Republican votes, the results in the midterms were 63 seats lost by Barack Obama and the Democrats. So I just wanted to put that out there, Mr. Ivy, because they're going to pass something. And their goal, they need Republican support for political reasons, but the voters, the Democrat voters, especially Black Democrats, they don't give a damn about Republicans. They know that the Democrats can do reconciliation without Republicans. So they better do it right, Mr. Ivy, because right now, the remorse is starting to set in, especially with Black folks. And the mainstream media, they're going to have a hard time reporting it. So if you want news, you better go to Fox. So that's all I got, Mr. Ivy.
What?
But hey, you continue doing what's that?
You said we better go to Fox.
Why are you laughing?
You talking about
Why
fake
you
news.
laughing?
Why would we ever go to fake? That's the fake news network right there.
No, they're not. No, Fox was the one that exposed the immigration disaster, and it's going to heat up again in the next month.
Did.
So get ready for that one. Mr. Ivy, I'm just telling you, Fox News is killing all the other cable networks. The numbers are out there. You probably are aware of the numbers. But guess what, Mr. Ivy? People now with technology, Democrats, I can listen to all y'all strategies talking about what the Republicans gonna do, what they ain't gonna. It's not about Republicans in the Black community, Mr. Ivy. Everybody knows that. I mean, it's so obvious. It all started after the Civil Rights Movement. And I mean, after the Civil Rights legislation was passed and all that money started coming to the Black community. That was the beginning of it. And these crooked ass politicians were not doing their job and distributing that money to the people that really needed it. And it's been going on too long, and this is where we are right now. Okay, you can't blame it on the scary orange man no more. You can't blame it on Republicans. Democrats control the House, they control the Senate, and, well, somebody's in control of the White House because it ain't Joe Biden. So it's probably Barack Obama. You know, his third term, the shadow president. You know Barack. Where's Barack anyway? They don't speak on Black issues.
You're just talking straight ish today.
Okay,
huh?
Okay, see, I'm getting off the phone because I already know. I already know the overseers, they chasing. I can hear the gates open. Shit, Glenn done recruited like 4 of them now. He done recruited. He's like, I need some YouTube overseers. Where's Maze? I done shut Donita down because I'm coming with facts every morning, like I always do.
You shut her down because you talking and she ready to get to the business and you running from her in the
No,
debate.
she ain't. No, don't nobody want this business, Mr. Ivy. Because if she wanted it, she would have came on the Black Not Democrat podcast with no preconditions. But she didn't want to smoke because she already
You the
knows
one with the
Mr. Ivy,
preconditions,
you
but
cannot.
I don't want to dredge up old stuff, but you're the one with the preconditions.
I know you don't. Okay, whatever you want to say, Mr. Host, this is your show, and I love your show, okay? But Donita knows the truth. I shut her down, okay?
We all know
Glenn from Mason, I don't even want to talk about his sorry ass.
You keep bringing him up every
Because
time
I made
you
a
call
video.
him?
Well, I made a video on him last night because I recorded one of his calls on one of the local radio stations. I finished the video last night. I'm going to post it. I'm going to post it on your YouTube, on your Twitter feed, as soon as I hang up, Mr. Ivy. So that's all I got. John Squad 52, also known as the Black Not Democrat. Drop it to anybody who wants to step back. I'm out. Peace.
Who wants to step back? Oh, dear Lord. Dear Lord. I have no comment. He just wanted to talk some ish this morning. Good morning to you. 513-873-7134. I'm just getting a message from my buddy, loosely, Joe Eaton with the Buckeye Firearms Association, because here in the state of Ohio, there is a, and it's kind of, I don't know if it's going to go forward or not. It stalled last week. There was no vote on it, but there's some people that want to make it, they want to change the way you do concealed and carry in the state of Ohio. And they want to do away with the permit. They believe in a pure Second Amendment. And they want Ohioans to be able to conceal and carry in the state of Ohio without getting a permit, any kind of license, any kind of anything like that. And from a pure Second Amendment standpoint, I agree with it. But I don't trust modern day humans. I don't trust you. I don't trust them. I don't trust us. I don't trust it. And I feel like if they did that in the state of Ohio, all it's going to do is get a lot of people killed. Or would it? You know, it's funny because all this crime and people like that, I never hear anybody saying, you know what, we need more good guys with guns. I never hear that. Like when crime happens in Avondale, I never hear people say, you know what, we need more good people with guns in Avondale. I never hear that. So I don't know. But he's not available this morning. Perhaps we'll catch up with him tomorrow. Good morning. Welcome to the show.
Hello, Nathan.
Good morning. Good morning,
Mace.
Mace.
I have another one for Drop. Tell him when he's speaking about that Republican Party, ask him why did Colin Powell leave the party. He explained it in details why he left the party. And he voted for Democrat and he voted Republican. But why he left that party is for the same reason the Drop love those people so much that he only can see one way. You got a left and a right, and you got the middle. And if you don't choose to go either or either go up the middle sometime, something wrong with you. With that Drop, at 45, I'm still waiting for them to take him to jail. But Drop won't have no conversation about that. Keep loving that party. And maybe one day, people will wake up and realize that there's no difference between the two parties, but that one don't want American citizens to have nothing. They want to carry it all in their pocket, and you got these drops walking around here trying to drop stuff. Like Fox, yeah, they got a high rating, but it had nothing to do with the news and that Sean Hannity them side. The other side of Fox, sure, they got big ratings. Have a good one.
Have a great day. Thank you for the call. You said drop. It's hilarious. Don't let drop trigger you. Talking about we need to be watching Fox News. I watch it from time to time. I watch that nonsense. It's mildly entertaining to me depending on what my mood. It's been a minute though. It's been a minute. I haven't watched any network TV in a while. I typically will catch it later. But dear God. Sister Iris in the house. She writes, good morning, great people. Good to see you. So I took the survey about the police chief. It takes you all of like 3 minutes. It's real simple. There's a link inside the Friends Who Like the Nathan Ivy Show page right now. You can check it out. And as Sister Iris told us yesterday, that can be used to be a part of the job description. That's right, because the current police chief is out of here. He's going to be retiring soon. He probably sick of us. He probably can't wait to leave. He probably can't wait to kick back on the beach somewhere and enjoy the spoils of being retired and not have to deal with city council or anything. But what that's going to mean is it's going to leave a vacuum. So let me see. TNT is still responding. I wouldn't even respond to him, TNT. Period. You know what you're doing. You already know. You now everybody's gonna love you. It don't matter what you do. I was just telling the wifey this last night, reinforcing it. You can be the best. You can do whatever you got to do for the community. It's always gonna be an element that's gonna have some dumb ish to say, and that's more of a reflection of them than it is of you. You know what I'm saying? So don't internalize that nonsense. Good morning to you. Good morning. Good morning. Nikki's in the house. Good to see you. Pam Ram writes, I prefer get lost drip drop. Get lost drip drop. You prefer that? He's lying again. Kit writes, hang up on this dude. Elect a clown. Get a circus. Right. Exactly. I'm not voting for any clowns for city council or for mayor. I ain't doing it. I ain't doing it. Angela writes, drop the Republican. Bye, Felicia. Exactly. Anthony writes, it is really a big deal that a bunch of half-wits watch Fox News. I mean, they like it. They know how to give their audience what they want. TNT writes, you now have more cameras running and with sound at the Justice Center because of our ongoing efforts to build a relationship with transparency and accountability with the Hamilton County Sheriff under Sheriff Charmaine McGuffey. It wouldn't have happened with Bruce Hoffbauer. It would not have happened. Kevin writes, there goes drop. Missed the memo says, don't tip your hand that you are getting your info from us. Hashtag Fox News, that right? Jared writes, Fox News is propaganda for conservatives as much as CNN is for liberals. I don't see him the same, Jared. And I know people are going to say, there you go again, but I don't see him the same. Fox is not to the Democrat. The CNN is not to the Democrats what Fox is to the Republicans. They are not the same. They are not the same. MSNBC and CNN did not treat Obama the same way that Fox treated Trump across the board. They did not treat him the same. That's just my humble opinion. Jenny's in the house. She writes, good morning, Nathan and the Choppers. Good morning to you. Absolutely. Brian writes, people are still saying they need more info. Pick up your damn phone. Absolutely. Let's talk about the future of Cincinnati. I want to talk about the future of Cincinnati because I see great things happening in the future of Cincinnati. And I know a lot of native-born Cincinnatians can get really jaded. You can look at the city and look at everything that it hasn't happened. You remember all of the wrongs. Maybe you were done wrong or a family member was done wrong, or you look at the current power structure, and I think that's fair. But as I look at the future of Cincinnati and I see all these great things happening, this flow in part was inspired by our conversation yesterday with Toylin O'Neill. I think what she's doing with the Robert O'Neill Multicultural Center is just yet another example of like seeds that are being planted that, once they take root and start to show, I think can help to make this city into something very, very interesting. Like, we don't have to continue being what we think this city is. We can remake this city into anything we wanted to make it in, but we got to get away from just talking about it and actually doing it. And I say, man, from what I see, there's a lot of really good people working to that end from a lot of different areas. And in particular, a lot of people, a lot of Black and brown people working on that. And I love that energy. I love it. And I'll say it again. I think in 10 or 15 years, Cincinnati might mess around and be a hub for, not mess around because you got to do it with intentionality, but Cincinnati could very well be a hub for creators in general and Black creators specifically, because we got all the bones. We got the bones. We got a good foundation here. Cincinnati has a lot going for itself. You know what I'm saying? We got a lot going for ourselves here in the city of Cincinnati. And it's really just about building upon it. So I just say this because I want people to just, if you're a cynic, if you're one of those cynical people, you're probably that way for a good reason. I'm not telling you that you arrived at that point, you know what I'm saying, and there's no justification for it. But all I'm saying is that, like, I'll say this again for like maybe the third day straight, that out-of-towners come to Cincinnati and they love this city. They love so many great things about the city. And if you're able to stand back, if you're able to, because sometimes you can be so deep in it, right? You're so connected to it that you can't see it. But I can. If you can step away from it and just look at the foundation that we have in this city, you can see the potential for a lot of greatness. And I'm talking about for Black folks in particular. There's a lot of really, really special things, a lot of good energy that's happening around this city. And I can see it. What is this, 2021? I can see us in 2031, right? With a whole different avenue. Because, like I said, there's a renaissance in this city that's taking place. And that's why this upcoming city council and mayoral election is so instrumental. Because think about it. You know, what I'm predicting is 10, 15 years away. Think about it. The next mayor, that person could be in office for the next 8 years. That's almost a decade. The next city council could be in place for the next 8 years. I mean, they are going to be instrumental in directing us, like conductors, like directing us in the right direction. And I think it's 100% possible. You know what I'm saying? I think it's 100% possible, but we got to get beyond talking, right? Because this is a talk format. We got to get beyond talking and get our hands dirty and get out here and actually start doing. It is completely possible. So I'm just encouraging my audience to kind of look at this city with a different lens, because I can see it. I 100% see it. Absolutely. And see the potential for what we have here in the city of Cincinnati. And we might mess around. I'm telling you, we might mess around in 10, 15 years. We could be that spot. We could be that spot. I know the disparities exist, but a lot of good people are working on those disparities right now. They could close that gap and create a better Cincinnati for, my son is 6. My daughter's 16. That means in 10 years, he'll be 16. She'll be 26. It could be a better Cincinnati for them, right? Isn't that the point of it? You know what I'm saying? We understand the numbers and the disparities, but we can close that gap. I feel the same way about the city as I do the Bengals. There's only one way to go, up. There's only one way to go. We only got one direction to go, right? That's up. So let's rise together. Let's go up together. And I think if I had to bet right now, I would bet that will happen. That's the direction for the city of Cincinnati. Great things. That's just me. Now, anything could happen, but I'm just saying, when I look at the city, despite all the issues and the this and the that and the problems and this happened, I get it. I get it. I get it. But what are we going to do about it? We're going to bellyache about this, or we're going to get our hands dirty and start investing in the future? I'm more of the latter type of person. I'm all about the future and being optimistic about what we can accomplish together. That's just me. What do you think about it? Like, do you ever think about the city in that way? I do. You ever think about your own fortune or your own capabilities in that way? I know I do. And I'm a pretty optimistic person. But that's what I see as the future of Cincinnati. I think the future of Cincinnati has the potential to be very, very, very good. Because, as I've said, what other direction do we have to go in? But up. There's nowhere else to go. You know what I'm saying? That's it. And you got all these people, man, saying great things and doing great things. I think it has the potential to all come together and create a critical mass, and a momentum in a very positive direction. And we shall see. But that's what I'm betting on. That's what I see in the future of Cincinnati. And I want to be a part of it. Politically Petty Podcast writes, recorded one of my calls. That's what he said, bro. I ain't even really buy into that. I know you said something about him recording my calls and playing them other places. Go right ahead. I don't give a damn. If that's what he wants to do, that's him. Brian writes, what's the point of the story drop? I don't know. I'm gonna have to put some reins on the brother. Make sure he's on point so we don't waste our time. Dwight's in the house. Good morning to you. He writes, the state of Kentucky did away with their concealed and carry license a year or so ago. Anybody that's not a felon can carry concealed without a license. Is that right? And has the crime rate gone on up, Dwight? Has the instances of vigilante justice, has that risen? Or is it just fear mongering and nothing really happened and it's no big deal? I'd like to know. You tell me. Greg writes, good morning, Nate and the Choppers. Good morning to you. Good morning to you. Angela's got to step away. She'll be back, she says. Dwight writes, the state of Kentucky, I think I read that already, Did the sheriff ever find her gun? Re-election is coming. Yeah, I heard some things about that. Like there might have been a deeper plot to that. You know what I'm saying? I haven't talked with Charmaine McGuffey. She hasn't been on the show. I haven't just reached out to her. I'm sure if I did, she'd be open to come on the show. But I've heard that, she's dealing with what a lot of people are dealing with when they come in and try to be a change agent. And that is, you got people on your staff that's on some dumbish. Either they don't like you or they like things the way it used to be. So instead of being a part of change, they want to dig their heels into the ground and just like slow the reforms as much as possible. I heard through the grapevine that she might be dealing with some of that, and I wouldn't be surprised. Some of these county departments and institutions need to be reformed, and it starts with the leadership at the very, very top. For far too long, we've allowed bad actors to be in control of it, like before Avtab Burfall took over for the clerk of courts. Can't nobody say that he hasn't done a good job down there. Nobody can say it. You never hear anybody say anything about the job that he's done. They try to say little F-ish here or there, but it doesn't hold up because it seems like real is real. Crystal writes, good morning, Choppers. Tierra writes, good morning. Good to see you. Good morning to you. Natasha writes, I agree with you, Nathan, 100% about the future Cincinnati. Oh, the future Cincinnati is so bright. It's so bright. The future of Black Cincinnati is very, very bright. It's all about your attitude, and I have a very optimistic attitude. I see a lot. I say it again without getting in particulars. I see a lot of change agents who are working in their respective lanes, building a great foundation for the next 10, 15, 20 years in this city. And I see no reason as to why that can't happen. Crystal writes, I pray you're right. Well, Crystal, we got to get off our knees and stop praying, although prayer is very important and very powerful, and start doing. You know what I'm saying? I see people out here doing it. Putting things in place and building a foundation. I just sit back like, oh, snap. I love what I'm seeing. This is beautiful, and it's going to be even more beautiful and more impactful down the road, 5, 8, 9, 10, 15 years down the road. Because again, I say, where else can we go? Where else can we go? Where else can we go as Black Cincinnati? Where else can we go? We have no other place to go than up. That's it. We certainly ain't going backwards. We ain't doing that shit. We ain't going backwards. That's not happening. That's not happening. Only place we can go is forward. The only thing we can do is close these gaps. The only thing we can do is build Black wealth and build Black entrepreneurs and creatives and things like that. That's all we can do. That's the only thing that can happen. You only got one direction. And if you're not about that direction, that means you're on some dumb-ish, and nobody cares about the people on dumb-ish. Nat writes, yep, those that rat stole her guns, maybe, LOL. Well, since you brought up, that's what I heard. I heard that when Charmaine McGuffey, and again, I heard this, I don't know if it's true or not, heard it from multiple sources, that's why I'm sharing it with you, that, it was some dumbish going around with the theft of her firearm. I don't know if it's true or not. I don't know, but if it is true, it just goes to show you the level of real corruption. And see, that's the thing. In the city of Cincinnati, and yeah, we had to talk about it because that was an example of corruption. The allegations, well, the charges, which were true about Tamaya Denard, their allegations against Jeff Pastor and PG Sinfield, we don't know. We'll find out next year. We'll find out then. But until then, it's allegations. But the allegations and the admission by Tamaya Denard, it does deserve our attention. Absolutely, we got to talk about it. But to me, the real corruption is far deeper than that. It's way deeper, and we never really talk about it. But that's just me. 513-873-7134. If you want to transform your brainwaves into internet talk radio waves this morning. Ray writes, Joe Dieters only works part-time. Where's the campaign to fix that? Absolutely. Well, we had it. Fanon Rucker said I was going to be full-time. But you had white female Democrats that didn't know enough about him, and they fell prey to the Joe Dieters fear-mongering campaign. That's still a soft spot for Cincinnatians, and maybe it's a soft spot for people across the country. I don't know, because I'm in the Natty. I don't know. But the whole fear-mongering, like, oh, they're going to take away the police, and then we're going to be left defenseless. They're going to come to our home and steal everything we work so hard for. Oh, Joe, help us, Joe Dieters. And then Joe comes in talking tough and all this kind of stuff. And some Cincinnatians still fall for that nonsense. We need him. 513-873-7134. Let me add a couple other things to the conversation that you may or may find important, or you may or may not have seen, or it may or may not be on your radar screen, but I want to share with you nonetheless. Again, I want to share this with you. And again, it seems like the instances of reporting in the news of like police violence, it seems as if it hasn't been touched at all or impacted by the summer of social unrest last year, right? Like last year, you had in all the major cities in every state, they had, and it was all at one time. I'd never seen anything like it before, right? You had people that were in the streets raising their voice about police brutality and police reform and things like that. You know, across the nation, people were outraged about George Floyd, still outraged about George Floyd, and people were outraged about Breonna Taylor, but they were also outraged about stories that were very similar or examples that happened in their backyard, that happened in the cities that they live in. And that's the reason why people hit the streets. I thought that there was a lot of tone deaf wannabe politicians who completely misdiagnosed what was happening here in the city of Cincinnati, including the mayor. Because I heard people saying things like, well, this didn't happen in Cincinnati. Why are people so upset? Why are people in the streets of Cincinnati? It was just so tone deaf because they don't know their own city. You know, yeah, you might be the mayor, or yeah, you might be running for a political slot, but you don't really know the city of Cincinnati if you would say something like that. There's a lot of resentment beneath the surface, and justifiable so, because people have their own individual examples and stories to tell as it relates to dealing with law enforcement. But even through that, there were stories coming out of officers putting their knees on the necks of people. Like even while we was outraged about George Floyd, it was still happening, and it's still happening. And it's still happening. And it's like none of that has had any impact whatsoever. This is just my opinion. But none of that has had any real impact whatsoever. And again, I'm not in every city, so I don't know what's happening. You know, what I would love is that you see like movements like we've had here in the city of Cincinnati to push for real reforms. I don't know if that's really happening or not. But the examples just keep coming in. Some of them have to do with former police officers, like the story I want to share with you, where you have an ex-police officer who went on to work for NASA, and he killed one of his neighbors by firing 7 shots at him. Michael Hettle, Hetle, Michael Hettle, former police officer who later became an executive for NASA, has been found guilty of first-degree murder for the killing of his black neighbor, a young brother by the name of Javon Prather, 24 years old. Now, apparently, and you tell me, have you ever had like an issue with a neighbor? We had an issue with a neighbor I'll share with you in just a couple of minutes, because those things can get violent real quick. You know, when you're dealing with your home and things like that, I mean, your emotions and your feelings can get involved very, very, very quickly. But apparently, the two of them have been feuding for some time. And there were complaints about loud music and then dog droppings, which can be very disrespectful. I've had to check a couple of my neighbors like face to face because they got their dog in my yard. And they say the most ridiculous things. Like, it's amazing. Like when you check a human being for bringing their dog into your yard, they say the most ridiculous things. Like I've had people say things to me like, I didn't know. Well, what do you mean you didn't know? Like, you know, it's not your yard. That's all that matters. You know what I'm saying? I had my neighbor from across the street. I had to check her. It's a multi-family unit, right? So one of the residents, black female, I call her bringing her dog across the street to our yard. And when I checked her, you know what this woman said? It was the craziest thing. She said, well, I always pick it up. And I'm thinking to myself, let me get this straight. You're going to walk away from your yard to walk to my yard to let your dog do his business. And you're going to pick it up? Well, if it's all clean and you're going to pick it up, then do that in your yard and pick it up. It's just the craziest stuff. Like when you catch a human red-handed doing something, they can sometimes say the most ridiculous things in the moment. In the moments of the most ridiculous things. But I get it. You can be very heated. Going back to last year during the pandemic, we live near an apartment building. A lot of people do. And it was two white males. They were living together. I don't know their relationship, family or something like that. But for whatever reason, one of them just loved to walk over to our yard. We just couldn't understand it. And my wife said something to him one time, and he wasn't fly to her, but he wasn't respectful. Start asking her about who owns what. And I'm looking at this man like, if you don't get your ass away the hell away from us. So I had to end up saying something. And those kind of things can just really just go really, really bad. That's stuck when you're dealing with other human beings that you don't know in a kind of neighborhood situation. That shit can go real quickly violent, real quick. You just never know. And so it seems like that's what happened in this particular case. And so again, they have been feuding for some time. A grand jury just found this man, 54 years old, guilty of killing his neighbor, who was a Maryland National Guardsman. And the whole thing got caught on his Ring doorbell camera. If you don't have a Ring doorbell camera or some type of like camera security system on your front door, I would encourage you to do so. It might save your life or it might save you from going to jail. You never know one day. But the whole thing was caught on the Ring doorbell. And I didn't see the video itself because I think they didn't put it out there because it was too violent. But this white male shot this black man 7 times because he was standing on his door. Literally opened the door and just opened fire from what I'm reading. And the man stumbled into the driveway, and Michael Hurdle finished him off. He fired a total of 7 shots and then claimed self-defense because he thought he had a weapon. Authorities found no weapon. He had no weapon whatsoever. He just shot this dude because he was in his feelings. But that shit can go left real quick. That neighbor situation, because people take it so seriously because it's their home. It's their home. And when you feel like when you're in your home, that's like your castle. And you feel like whether you do or not, you feel like you got a right to use whatever force to make you feel safe. Right? To make you feel safe. People feel that way. Just a terrible situation. Never had to go that way. Shot this man 7 times. 7 times. And apparently when he was a police officer, he had killed 2 people in the line of duty. So I don't know the details about those scenarios. I don't know if it was a Bruce Hoffbauer type of situation, like you killed somebody you didn't really have to, or if it was a situation where he had to do what he had to do. You know, people, black folks, everybody understands that when you're a member of law enforcement and you got to do what you got to do, hey, you got to do what you got to do. Nobody else say a word. But shot this man 7 times. As the man was falling backwards, he's still firing at him. The man crawls to the driveway. He finishes him off in the driveway. Huh? What? Again, there's some people out there, folks. You should never judge a book by its cover. Now he's in prison, maybe for life. Absolutely. TNT writes, OMG. Crystal writes, wow, people are crazy. Anthony writes, people are crazy as hell. People are people. People are people. That's what you do. D Kick writes, throw some mothballs of cayenne pepper out there. Yeah, I've done a few things. Sister V writes, making voters feel safer is an effective campaign. That's what activates their base, the dog whistle. What activates our base, can we say it in less than 5 words? If not, that's the problem. Good point. Good point. Charles writes, oh, he's a regular killer. He is used to it. He thought the fear for my life self-defense ploy would work like he always had. Right. That's exactly what he thought. Charmaine McGuffey says she don't want the playing cards with the people that's been murdered inside the jail anymore. She said there's a risk factor, a security risk. So now the organization, You Can Speak for Me, who developed the cards, may no longer be able to get the message out in the jails. Okay. I think I know what you're talking about. Okay. So she says she doesn't want it because it's a risk factor. Huh, that's interesting. And so these cards were manufactured to do what? To make people aware and to try to get tips on unsolved murders? Is that what it was about? And she said she wasn't doing it. Okay. Well, again, hopefully I'll remember it, but if I get a chance to talk to her, then I'll ask her about that. McGuffey needs a Reynolds. It's hilarious. McGuffey needs a Reynolds. You are hilarious for that, man. Me and Reynolds are the first one through the door. Yo ass sitting back here talking ish about us, and we putting our lives on the line. That is hilarious, man. Me and Reynolds. That is funny. That's too funny. She does need a Reynolds. Everybody needs a Reynolds. I need a Reynolds. Greg writes, how about the video I shared on the Friends of the Nathan Ivy yesterday? Unless you actively keep up all the case of police brutality, you wouldn't know about what happened right up the highway in Indianapolis. You talking about the brother that was dragging him by his hair? That video, Greg? I'll see if I can find it. Anthony writes, somehow the inmates are jamming the cell door locks with the cars. Oh, okay. Is that what it is? The ingenuity of inmates, huh? They got nothing but time to sit around and think about jamming the doors of the locks. Akeem writes, yo, I was just thinking that Nate giving Junior a design hair court. I'm not sure what you was thinking about. What? Well, what was you thinking about exactly? I'm not really sure. Huh? What was that? What? What exactly? If you're just tuning in, I've already broken down issue 3, and I'll say it to you this way. That's a promo for Midday Juice coming up today at 1 p.m. And I'll break it down this way. I think there's some interesting elements that I agree with as individual elements. Altogether, it's a no-go for me for issue 3. Altogether, I wonder what the intended impact is and what the unintended impact is. And then secondly, can we get some community input at all? Or is the community input basically, hey, sign this, I want to put this on the ballot, to sign it? You know, something that's going to be that big, I think you got to have community involvement with it if you really want people to get behind it. Right now, I would say, look, go back to the drawing board, come back to us when you got a better idea. I ain't feeling it. And part of the reason I ain't feeling it is because of the people behind it. I'll be honest with you. It's because of some of the people behind it. I just ain't feeling them. I don't think they have our best interest in mind. And therefore, I just can't get down with it. Can't get down with it all. But what do you think? 513-873-7134. If you'd like to share your thoughts this morning, I would love to hear them. All I ask is that you open your mind before you open your mouth. Yeah, good morning to you. I'm reading that calls for state and local police reform are being renewed after what happened with those Dayton officers. And if you missed it, they picked this brother up, right? They picked this brother up, Clifford Owensby, stuffed him into the back of it. Number one, dragged him out of his car in a very vicious and violent way. Pushed him onto the ground, dragged him with his pants down to the police cruiser, stuffed him into the back of the police cruiser, took him to a lockup facility. The lockup facility said, we can't take you. And basically, he was left on his own devices to find a way home. And this is after he had complied on many different levels. They asked him to pull over. He pulled over. They asked him to turn off his car. He turned off his car, right? They, on all these different levels, the man had already complied, and this still happened to him. So I'm reading that there are some organizers up in Dayton who are, you know, it's not jumping on the opportunity, but this is an opportunity for them to push for reforms. I hope it works. I hope it works. And again, I'll say, if you didn't check out Straight Talk Live this weekend on Sunday, it's well worth your time. Edna Howe got a chance to speak with the president of the Dayton chapter, Dr. Derek. What's the brother's name here? I think I still got it. But we'll just say the president of the NAACP chapter up in Dayton. And it was very interesting. Very interesting. Let me see if I still got it here. Yeah, it is right here. Dr. Derek Forward. Dr. Derek Forward. Very interesting. And he's working directly with Clifford Owensby. That's the brother you see there on the left. And it's worth your time. You'll pick up some knowledge about what really went down. Good morning to you. Let me see. Jericho writes, is there a day when Carlos can call in and discuss any topic discussed? I don't want to be a John and derail the show's flow. Feel free to call in. Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Something's on your mind? Let's go for it. Akeem writes, yo, Nate. I think I read that already. Do you really think those cars can jam mechanical locks? I think you'd be surprised. I really do. Yeah, what's on your mind, Jericho? Oh boy, do I want to hear it? Oh boy. Hold on a second. Hold on. Let me think about this. I'm not sure. No, I'm joking. Absolutely. I've seen all kinds of doors locked with random things before. Nothing man-made is infallible. At this point, I have no reason not to believe the sheriff. She also says she was looking at ways to redistribute the cards in a safer manner. Okay, great. Oh boy, look at this. She got a smiley face with big teeth. Oh boy. Oh dear Lord. What's on Jericho's mind this morning? Oh boy. I'm here for it though, Jericho. Let me make sure I don't miss your call. I'm here for it 100%. I'm just joking. You know, the door is always open. Absolutely. And with that, let's take a quick break. Just a couple of minutes early, but we took our last break a couple minutes late, so it'll help us catch up. Early voting opens, well, right now. It opened back on October the 5th and going all the way through November the 1st. Of course, Election Day is November the 2nd. Early vote. When we come back, I want to talk about Yeezy. I want to talk about the latest with Dave Chappelle and Netflix. And there's a couple other things I want to share with you as well. So if you want to share your opinion about anything going on or something on your mind, feel free to do so at 513-873-7134. We'll be right back.
Good morning, Choppers. I'm Scotty Johnson, candidate for Cincinnati City Council. Unfortunately, injustice remains in the city of Cincinnati. A remedy for injustice is courageous, bold leadership. I plan on bringing that type of leadership to City Hall. It's time to stop talking about it and to start doing something about it. Disparities have been in Cincinnati far too long. I'm the candidate to address those disparities. Vote Scotty Johnson for Cincinnati City Council.
Paid for by friends of Scotty Johnson.
I'm former Mayor Dwight Tillery asking you to vote for my friend, Michelle Dillingham, who is a Democrat running for Cincinnati City Council. The black population in our city has declined, pushing black homeowners out while speculators purchase their houses for pennies on the dollar. Black people are being foreclosed on because of rigged housing and economic systems.
Michelle Dillingham will fight for you. This is Victoria Strawn. You know me, Sister V. City Council prefers investing in a soccer stadium and gentrifying our historic neighborhoods. Malcolm X said that if you don't own land, you're nothing but a squatter.
Come on, Michelle, talk to the people.
City Council is being sued for discriminatory tax abatement programs that unfairly enrich wealthy white neighborhoods. I know because I've been fighting for reform for years. Isn't it time to elect a candidate who will stand up for the people over special interests? Vote for me, Michelle Dillingham, Democrat for Cincinnati City Council.
Paid for by Dillingham for Council Committee.
Hamilton County Commissioner Alicia Reese, and I've been busy fighting hard for the citizens of our county. But today I'm asking you to vote for my friend, Democrat Elizabeth Tye, for municipal court judge. Elizabeth Tye and her family stood with me in a tough election. Now I'm asking you to stand with Elizabeth Tye for judge. She's from our community and she's qualified. Elizabeth Ty grew up in Kennedy Heights and graduated from Central State University. Elizabeth Ty has been a prosecutor, a public defender, and has built a law practice from the bottom up. There is currently only one Black woman on the municipal court. It's time to send another one. Join me in voting for my sister, Elizabeth Ty, for judge. Meet me at the polls.
This is Elizabeth Ty, and there is only one judicial race, and I need you to vote Ty for judge. Let's send a clear message that hard work and experience matters. Go vote Ty for judge today.
Paid for by the committee to elect Democrat Elizabeth Ty for municipal judge.
Watch this. Come back. Welcome back. Good morning to you. Again, happiness is not something ready-made, my friends. It comes from your own actions. It's a mentality. It's the way you look at the world. It's not all about this thinking happy thoughts. It's about looking at the world for what it really is. Again, sand in an hourglass. Our time is running out. How are you going to spend your time? If tomorrow was your last day, how would you spend today? Look at it that way. Good morning to you. Welcome back. And again, when you see political ads or you hear political ads, those are not endorsements. Those are advertisements, two completely different things. Coming up this afternoon at 1 p.m., Midday Juice. Check this out. Here's the art for it. My husband's ex-wife won't stay in her lane. You won't believe what this sister is doing, what this woman, I don't know if it's a sister or it's not, is going through. And Ashley is going to give her opinion. Equal parts humor and compassion is always a lot of fun. Check it out today at 1 p.m. Midweek, Midday Juice with Ask Ashley at 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time today. Let's get back to it. We got a call. Let's take it. Good morning. Welcome to the show. Good morning.
Hey, Nathan, can you hear me?
I can hear you.
Am I on does it sound like I'm on speaker? Because I'm using my headphones because I'm driving.
Yes, it's not the best, but we can hear you, Jerica. Is this Jerica, right?
It is.
Okay.
Okay, so let's talk. So can we possibly recap your Saturday situation or your encounter or your experience?
You said, can we rehash what happened on Saturday?
Correct.
Okay, yeah, you talking about the video I posted when I was out with my female friend?
Yeah,
it was Uncle Nate that day.
So,
yeah, sure. Absolutely.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay, good. So just to, let the choppers know, when you posted the video, right, you went and recounted everything that happened, and I shared it. And I shared it onto the friends page. And I also included a message. Now, I don't even remember all that I said in the message, but the gist of it was, look at this. What is your opinion? And what else did I say, Nathan? Because you felt that it was rude, so you deleted it.
Yeah, I did.
What else did I say? Do you remember?
I think, if I remember correctly, and I got a pretty good memory, so just give me a second. I think what you posted on there was verbatim. I think what you posted was, I was so excited to view this until I did. I think that's what you posted.
There we go.
That's what you posted.
I did say that.
Right.
I did. But in addition to that, it was, okay, view this and let me know what your opinion is. So you found it to be rude, and I questioned why. And, sorry, I'm parking. And I guess I'm just trying to call in to find out why you felt that my having an opinion that differed from yours was offensive or rude. Because when I watched the video, I was kind of taken aback because it didn't sound like an experience that a married man was having. It sounded like an experience that a single man was having, whose pride got hurt and who needed to kind of air it all out. Does that make sense?
I mean, does it make sense to me?
To you?
I mean, you're entitled to your opinion. I mean, it doesn't necessarily
Do you
make
see how
sense to
that?
me because I didn't see it that way. But if that's how you felt about it, that's how you felt about it.
Okay, and I just wanted to kind of let you know that that is the position I was coming from. When you were speaking about that situation and you were calling that woman a baddie, and you know, I
She
can't
is a
believe
baddie.
that they said something. Okay, and then you saying like, I can't believe they said something to her after I left. They don't know who I could have been. It was as if you were offended by them approaching her
No, not.
because how,
I'm
well,
sorry. I don't
that's
want to
how it
cut you off. I
sounded.
want
That's
you,
how it came off to me.
want to give you
No,
the
you're fine.
floor.
You're fine. I appreciate that because that's how it sounded to me. And then there was a moment in the live where you said, you know, I'm not here to teach them because I'm a married man, but they need to learn. And I'm like, so what are you really doing here then? Because
No.
you're wanting them to hear this and see this. If you listen back to your live, there's a moment where you say, I'm not here to teach them because I'm a married man.
That's not what I said.
Okay, well,
No.
you can listen to it
I
back.
think the
And,
moment
you
you're
know,
talking about
that's
when I
okay.
said is they should be careful about judging a book by its cover because it'll be somebody like me, not me, because I'm married, that'll be spending time with your lady friend. That's what I said.
You may have said that as well, but you also said I'm not here to teach them because I'm a married man. But
The whole point is to
you
teach
know,
them.
it's there. Okay, that's what I was getting at as I was listening to it. Like, well, that's what you're doing, but you actually said that, and you can listen back to it if you think I'm wrong. But I was just taken aback by that and was just like, I mean, you know, I'm not trying to speak for your wife or anything like that, but I would never with my husband be on a live talking about how he's butthurt that some guys approached a woman who he was sitting down and having a meeting with after he left.
But I wasn't butthurt. I'm not butthurt now.
Nathan, you were butthurt. You
I
were
wasn't.
really hurt about that.
I really was. Is that what you heard? Is that what you
were
thought?
really,
That's funny.
yes, absolutely. That is absolutely
That's
what I heard.
funny.
It sounded as if you were really butthurt
I
because
wasn't.
those gentlemen, how dare they approach her after I was sitting there talking to her? They don't know who I was. They don't know who I am.
Yeah,
Because
all of that. But I was speaking not just
right,
for me, but I was speaking for anybody. I was very clear. You should never judge any man. You should never judge a book by its cover. So it was bigger than me. I wasn't butthurt. I have no reason to be butthurt. Why would I be
right,
butthurt?
and that's what I was thinking as well. That's what I was thinking as well. But hey, I don't know what you got going on.
Yeah,
So
but
then,
what reason, Jerica? What reason do I have to be butthurt?
you gave it in your life. You were offended that they came and approached this woman after you left because they didn't know who you were. That could have been your woman.
She could have been my woman. That's right.
That's what I'm saying. That's why you were offended.
But
and
I
was
wasn't
like, why
offended,
would you be
though.
offended over that?
I wasn't offended. I thought it was hilarious. I still think it's hilarious, but I'm a content creator. So I'm always looking for opportunities to create content. And I thought, here's an opportunity to teach. And that's exactly the way I approached it. You know what I'm saying? I mean, it was an opportunity for me as a more mature man to share with less or younger brothers. And that's how I looked at it. I had no reason to be butthurt. It would have made no difference had my friend decided that she wanted to hook up with them. That's her business. I never would have thought anything else of it. But since it came to me, I'm like, well, shit, I might as well do a video about it because that's what I do. I'm a content creator. I do videos. That's what I do. But no, I wasn't butthurt at all. I had no reason to be. I'm very secure in who I am. And I've got a wifey. And if I want to have girlfriends, then that's between me and her. I don't. But I mean, I do what I want to do when I get ready to do it. So I wasn't offended in any way whatsoever. I thought it was bad taste on their part. And what I thought is what I said is that it showed they don't understand women. And that was why I did it. Because if you understand women, it don't matter who a woman's with if you want to shoot game with her. And that's what I said. Just shoot your game at her. You know, if I was dating her and she decided she wanted to date somebody else, and that's what she gonna do. And I just thought it was poor taste on their part. And also it's bad game. It's bad game. You know, if you want to shoot your shot at a woman, you don't have to down another man, whether he be your age or white or black or whatever. Just shoot your shot at her. And that was the whole point
So
of
do
it.
you think that they were downing you?
Oh, yeah. Oh, they definitely tried to down me with some ageism type ish and to try to
Oh,
shoot
did
their
they?
shot at her.
By,
Yeah, they definitely did, for
by
sure.
saying, is that your uncle?
Yeah, for sure. Because it could have said,
Okay.
is that your man? But by saying that's your uncle, it was kind of say, why you with that older guy? As if that would be.
But you weren't offended.
No, I wasn't offended.
You
Why
weren't
would I be
butthurt by
offended?
any of that.
Why would I be
I don't
offended?
know, because right now it even sounds like you're offended.
No, I'm
But
not offended
so
at
you
all. It's
felt
just
that
an
they
opportunity to
disrespected
fuller
you.
explain myself. I think you're hearing what you want to hear.
Okay.
I think it's just an
No,
opportunity for
I'm
me to
hearing what
explain
you're
myself.
saying.
No, it's just an opportunity for me to explain myself. And I think it's very, very critical. Like what I shared was good game. You should share that with some of your male friends and they might learn something. Honestly, 100%. Like I took some time to share good game. Now, people want to take it the wrong way. They can take it any way they want to, but smart people will learn from it. Because like I said, if you want to shoot your shot at a woman, just shoot your shot at her. Just shoot your shot at her. Don't try to diss who you think she was just with, because it could backfire. And from what I was told, that's exactly what it did.
Oh, you followed up with her to see if she did talk to the guy?
She communicated to me, yes. She communicated with me.
All of it. All of it just sounds like a single man having an encounter, not a married man. So that's why I was taken aback.
See,
that's just my opinion.
That's just
you
where
may
your
see
head
it differently.
is. That's where your head
Absolutely
is.
That's absolutely. We all have our
Right.
own opinions, and I'm
Right.
giving and voicing mine.
Right, absolutely.
So, that is how I saw it. And again, I was excited until I listened, and then I wasn't any longer. So, because I didn't think the guys did anything wrong by approaching her and saying, hey, was that your uncle? They didn't know who you were, but you took it as, oh, they see me as old, so, how dare they? And then for her to call you and be like, hey, those guys that were in there tried to talk to me. That's what we do as females, to kind of poke the bear or say, I want you to be a little jealous. Like, I don't know, because I don't know you all's relationship.
Nah, that's not how she meant it. She got a chuckle out of it. And I'm sure she gets approached all the time. So it's not something new for her. But it was just interesting. The way they approach was interesting. And it certainly was on some like, why are you with this older dude kind of thing. And as I've said before, don't let gray hairs fool you. There are plenty of women in their 20s and 30s that love the company of a mature man and all these gray hairs like I have with men. So again, I just thought it was naive. Their approach was naive. And I hope they see the video because they're in Cincinnati. I hope it gets back to them.
Oh, okay,
You okay?
Sorry, the machine came on, so I'm going to go. Yeah, the machine came on, so I'm going to go. I appreciate talking to you, though.
Okay. Appreciate the call. That's
All right,
Jerica.
talk to you later.
I knew it was something. Trying to hold my feet to the fire. That's hilarious. No, I was on some Amarion type ish. I mean, that's what men do. Men will do anything to try to get with a woman. Anything. Some men anyway. Not every man is like that, but some men will try anything. But it's interesting how people hear what they want to hear. You know what I'm saying? Here I am trying to give some advice to my brothers out there so they can shoot better game. And I didn't talk with her, but she communicated it to me that it was a turnoff for her, which I couldn't predict it would be a turnoff. I mean, maybe some women might be turned on by that kind of thing, but I could admit that. Again, when you a man shooting your shot at a woman, you don't bring up another man. You talk directly to her because her status don't really matter, quite honestly. It don't matter whether she's in a relationship or even if she's married. If she wants to spend time with you and be open to you shooting your shot, then she's going to respond. Period. But I guess, you have to be a little bit more mature to understand that. And yeah, I did delete it because I thought it was disrespectful. And I'll do this shit again. You know what I'm saying? I mean, what I'm supposed to do? I'm not a punching bag. Shit, I ain't on that. What I look like? Respect me, I respect you. Simple as that. And it wasn't disrespectful to me. I mean, because I said that's my friend. You know, we have a business endeavor that we're working on, and that's my relationship with her. Although I do like her, and that's it. And my wife is 100% secure. We've been married 21 years. We beyond all this little shit. We way beyond all of that. Way beyond this. Who was you with? And all this kind of shit. I don't worry about that. And she's not worried about with me. She know who I am. She knows I know who she is. That's it. I rest easy out here. And so does she. Trust me. Natasha writes, where can I find this link? Asking for a friend. It should be on my YouTube right now. You can check it out. Let me see. Shannon writes, it's good the vibe he gave didn't say he-man. No one should be confused about a married man being someone else's man. I'm not sure what that means. It's good the vibe he gave didn't say he-man. No one should be confused about a married man being someone else's man. I don't understand, Shannon. Can you break that down for me? I don't understand. Jerica writes, so you give that type of energy when I'm off the phone? Really? What kind of energy? I told you. You said you delete. I said, yes, I did. I sent you a text message saying the same thing. I don't understand. What do you mean different energy? See, you be tripping, Jerica. You trying to start something. You see, Shannon writes, her man. That don't even matter. It don't, because that would have been different. It'd have been different. It would have been like, is that your man? That's different. I can see that. You want to check. Oh, okay. I ain't trying to mess up no happy home, that kind of shit. That's even game in and of itself. Right. But the point is they tried to come at my friend. And again, she brought this up, not me. Because to be honest with you, I almost forgot about it. And then Fame brought it up yesterday. I'm like, oh yeah, I did do a video, because that's how it is. You do it, you forget about it, you move on. But I haven't even checked on to see how many people have looked at it. I have no idea. But they approached her on some oh, that's your uncle, that's your father. And I'm like, no, but I'm gonna be your uncle and father and teach you about that. Don't let gray hairs fool you. Don't let that get you twisted. That don't mean a damn thing to a woman. In fact, in some women, it means great things. But, I know how it is. I was in my 30s once. I get it. You're all full of yourself and you're full of testosterone and you're feeling like you the he-man. I get it. I've been there. I understand. Believe me, Uncle Nate understands. I got a lot of compassion for the brothers. Trust me, I do. But I genuinely made that to help. I mean, it was a learning opportunity. I'm like, oh, okay, I need to teach. And that was the spirit I made with it. And Jerica watched it on some old cynical-ish. She watching the video like this. Making faces. Was you making faces, Jerica, when you was watching the video? Making faces? Stop. That's hilarious. Oh, man. I thought you were better. I'm not better than that. I keep saying it. I'm not no damn angel. I ain't holier than thou. I am human, tragically flawed human. Eyes can be petty, just like every other human being on the world and shit. I ain't no different. I thought we were better than that. We are better than that. And I'll do it shit again. I told you that. I told you, I sent you a message on Facebook. You bring it all up. I sent you a message on Facebook. So you trying to play me like I'm fronting in front of people. I don't front in front of people. What I said is what I texted you, Jerica, and you know that to be true. In my text message, when you asked me, I said I deleted it because I thought it was rude. I told you why I caught it, and I told you I would do it again. I said the same thing now. I'm not being no different. Don't try to play me like that, sis, because I'm being 100% authentic with you. I texted you in private exactly what I'm saying here publicly, and you brought it up, not me. You brought it up. So don't try that. Don't try that. You see. Tracy writes, this is mind-boggling. It is, Tracy. It is mind-boggling. Crystal writes, it was on Saturday. So it should be up on my YouTube page, Nathan Ivey, Ivey on YouTube. And it should be up on, I might have put that shit on CDM's page too. I just don't remember. But it might be there. But it's definitely on the Nathan Ivey Show page on Facebook. It's about 30 minutes long. It went longer than I thought it was going to go, actually, because I kind of got into a good flow. You know how it is. You get into a good flow. And then people were asking questions. Oh my God. Okay, now she's getting sensitive. No, sir. You have never typed or verbally cursed at or in my direction. Who cursed? When did I curse? I didn't curse at you. What did I say when I said I would do that shit again? That's not cursing at you. Oh my God. Little sis is in her feelings right now. Little sis in her feelings right now. Okay. But you told me all about myself. You feel as if I was butthurt and all these kind of things. Okay. I'm telling you, I wasn't butthurt. I was on some Amarion shit. I was unbothered 100%. It was nothing more than an opportunity to teach. I thought it was funny. The wifey thought it was funny. My female friend, we all thought it was hilarious. We laughing about it. Here you are all serious. My wife thought it was funny. How you gonna be more upset than she is, and I'm married to her? Does that make any sense, Jerica? She was the one that told me to do the video. She's like, go ahead and do the video. Yeah. Oh my God. Nakia writes, you are not on her good side today. Now, how you gonna be more upset about a situation like that than my wife is? That don't make no sense. That don't even make no sense. But okay, it is what it is. It is what it is. You are not on her good side. I know, I'm not. But see, Jerica's like my little sister. She like that little sister that's always waiting for you to mess up. Always. My little brothers was like that for a long time. Now they too old and they got other issues. But for a long time, they was waiting for me to make what you say, what you do. They was waiting for me to make a little misstep so they could jump in there and say something about it. That's how Jerica is, in a loving way. In a loving way. She don't mean it. In no way do I think she means that negatively. That's my little sis. You can be as mad as you want about with me today, Jerica, but I still got love for you. You still my little sis, and we not gonna fall out about this. We not falling out about this. And if you send another message like that, post it, and it's disrespectful, I'm gonna block that ish too, just so you know. Anybody else, it's not just you, it's anybody. What I look like, I'm gonna put self-inflicted wounds of myself. Where they do that at? I'm not doing that. Come on, man. Yeah, I said she was. Why is that bothering you? Because I can give a woman who's not my wife a compliment. What in the world? What in the world? Oh my God. You better not be driving that husband of yours crazy, Jerica. That's all I gotta say. Do not drive your king crazy with this little nonsense. This is inconsequential stuff. But she writes, so just to recap, Nate went on a 3-hour business date with a baddie, as he reportedly called her. She is. After the date, guys approached the baddie and said, so was that your uncle and or your father? Nate was mad because he thought, how dare they think I'm her uncle and not her man? That's not what happened. That's not what happened. I didn't think that at all. I didn't, Jerica. I didn't think that at all. Like, I honestly, I'm telling you again, on everything. I keep saying it. I was on some Amarion type ish. I didn't think anything about it at all. It wasn't until later I was just laughing about it. And I thought, you know what? These brothers are looking at things wrong. So let me teach them about women. You know what I'm saying? Let me teach them about women and how to approach a woman, because that's not how you do it. And according to my friend, it didn't work. So, you know, they could have approached her better if they was trying to get the numbers or whatever, and it might have worked. And then here you are taking it a whole different direction. But if that's what you want to do, Jerica, you go right ahead. You go right ahead. I think it adds to the show this morning. I think it's hilarious. Jerica's like, Yo's like, preach, Jerica. So Yo agree. You got somebody to agree with you. I know how social media is. People say things so people can like it. That's great. Y'all can think whatever y'all want to think. But since we're talking about it, since you brought it up, make sure you check out that video and share. Because what I want truly is I want those brothers to see that video and be like, wait a minute. Is he talking about me? I was esoteric. I did that. And they can learn something. And then maybe, they'll be, a little bit better in the scenario next time, because it is what it is. Let me see. Angela writes, speaking from experience, most older women love younger men. They played their hand wrong. Come correct next time. That would be my experience, but it is what it is. Regina writes, is this for real? Yes, it is. Kamika writes, married men still have eyes. If she bad, she bad. Right. I mean, damn. Is that the kind of relationship you in, Jerick? I got to ask now, where your husband cannot compliment another woman? Oh, dear Lord, that's a prison. Oh, boy. Woo. That's a prison. Ladies, if you're in a relationship, allow your man to be human. Allow him to be human. That's not a threat to your relationship, because he acknowledges that another woman that's not you might be attractive. And same thing, fellas, allow your wife to be human. If my wife is out and she thinks, oh, he's attractive, we laugh about it. We don't think shit up. That ain't no threat to me. How's that a threat to me because my wife thinks somebody attractive? How's that a threat to me because my wife has a lunch date with a business colleague and she says, oh, he's attractive? That ain't no damn threat to me at all. If that's a threat to me, we shouldn't be married. That's how I look at it. I guess I'm just built just a little differently, or we just built differently. Is that what y'all doing out here in relationships? Oh, dear Lord. No wonder divorce rate so damn high. Y'all have created circumstances that are impossibly high to live up to. Can't nobody live up to that. I's human, all the way human. You know what I'm saying? Let me free. I think the damn Amistad. Is this a marriage or the damn middle passage? Which is it? Dear Lord. Oh my God. Let me see. Yo writes, Nate, no disrespect, but she had her own opinion. What makes you think you're right, sir? Yo, are you serious? Are you're entitled to have your opinion about anything you want to. But she don't know me better than I know me. I'll tell you this. And the thing about it is, and I thought y'all knew me better than this. If I got in my feeling and was offended about it, I would just say it. I'd say, you know what, that could have been my one. I would just say that. What you gonna do about it? That's how I felt, but that's just not how I felt about it. If I did, I would just tell you. Ain't no skin off my teeth. I mean, I'm not gonna lose anything by being honest with you. So, nah, this just wasn't what it was. I mean, that's not how I felt about it. Diddy writes, using the word baddie was his attempt of describing why they would holler at her and use of how the guys viewed her compared to how they tried to make him look in the comparison. Thank you, Didi. That's all I was saying was I could understand why they wanted to shoot they shot at her. I get it. I said it over and over again. I completely understand it. I don't have no problems with it. Get it in where you get in, sis. Go right ahead. Go right ahead. And like I said, has she decided she wanted to hook up with them or she was flattered? That's her business. I never asked her and I never would ask her. Not my business. That's her business. That's not the issue. The issue was weak game. That was the issue. Akeem writes Jericho on that mess. Jericho writes, we compliment women all the time, but I be goddamn if he's on live thirsting over a chick. So now I'm thirsting over a chick. You is out of here. You is on one this morning, but I appreciate the conversation piece. You stirring that pot. You know I like that. Thank you. I'm gonna go ahead and thank you, Jericho, giving us something to talk about here in the waning moments of this show. I appreciate you. I appreciate you. Brenda writes, a married man is not a horse with blinders on. He is human. Absolutely. Ladies, allow your man to be human, or you're going to run his ass away. Fellas, allow your woman to be human, or you're going to run her away. I've known my wife 25 years. We've been married 21 years. Okay. We on a whole different level with this. You know, we are a whole different levels. And what I mean is she's human. I'm human. I'm not tripping over no little. We got big issues to deal with, like real issues. That's nothing. That's nothing. Like I said, I told her about it and we laughed about it. She was cracking up. And I told her about my idea. Keem writes, Nathan under siege. Yes, I am. I'm under siege right now. I told her about my idea to do a video. She's like, do it. You should do it. I'm like, okay, cool. She writes, you do. Listen back to the live. I'm done. Okay. Let me see. Yo writes, Virgos don't do wrong, bro. Absolutely. Virgos don't cheat. Virgos don't cheat. Virgos don't do no wrong like that. We don't do that kind of stuff. Tierra writes, people are insecure these days. I have friends who get mad at their spouses for liking certain pics on Instagram. I don't even know what my wife is following on Instagram. How would I know? The only way I would know is I'm like on her phone. I don't want to be on her damn phone. That's her phone. I don't care what she's doing on her phone. That's her business. When it rises to the level that she needs to tell me or it's a problem, I'm a big believer that God will let me know. You know what I'm saying? So I rest easy. Whatever she do. I'm not tripping about it. That's her. You know what I'm saying? She got the answer for that or answer to me for that. But who's out there on their wife's phone? I don't even know who my wife's following. I have no idea. You know what I'm saying? I've had my wife's phone with it unlocked in my hand. I don't even want to look at her phone. For what? Yeah, I have no idea. So people get insecure about liking shit. I mean, I know for a fact she probably follows some of these big muscle, sexy guys on Instagram. Great. If that helps her get through her day, she got a tough job. Living with me is not easy. We got 2 children. Being human is hard. If that helps her get through her day, God bless her. God bless her. It makes no difference to me. I just know where the money resides. I know when we cash them checks. I know how to get to that. That's all that really matters. That's all that really matters. All that other little shit, I'm not worried about it. Jerica cracking up. So now you done stirred the pot. Big old cauldron. You done stirred the pot. Now you're going to sit back and laugh, huh? You are hilarious, Jerica. Okay. I'm going to get you. I'm going to get you one day. In a good way. In a good way. Nothing negative. Yo writes, Nate not talking about you, Nate. Oh, absolutely. Sister Iris writes, real talk. Regina writes, if his wife doesn't care, what's the problem? I've been married 26 years. See, these youngsters. See, Jerica just got married. How long you been married, Jerica? 2-3 years. Youngster. Yeah, that newlywed bliss. You don't even know what marriage is yet. You ain't deep. Hit year 10, get back to me. Hit year 15, get back to me. Hit year 20, like a 2 with a 0, then get back to me. Then you know what marriage really is. That long-term cohabitation where you done dealt with every problem, every issue that you can imagine. Near-death experiences on both sides. I mean, when you go through all that kind of shit, your relationship, it changes. It's different. You know what I'm saying? I have a very mature understanding of what marriage is. Very mature. Very mature. How long you been married, Jerica? How long you been married? Go ahead. She said, don't try to flip this on me and on my spouse, sir, or anyone else in this room. My husband and I are secure AF. How long your husband been married? I'm curious. 3 years. 3 years. 3 years. Again, hashtag Black Love. I'm for it. You can't get to 10 unless you start at 3. So you in that journey, but 3 years. Oh my God. Enjoy it. Enjoy it. Enjoy the ride. And you ain't even really dealt with nothing yet. 3 years. 3 years. Hell, I dated my wife 5 years before we got married. 4 or 5 years before we got married. You know what I'm saying? My girlfriend, before I got married to my wife, I dated her 5 years. And you've been married for 3 years, and no way am I demeaning it because you got to start somewhere. But I'm just saying, sis, I'm at 21 right now. We on different levels with this. And I can understand how some of my moves you don't understand. But when you get to where I'm at, and y'all will, because you're going to take care of that king and he's going to take care of you as a queen. I know it. Y'all will. But when y'all get to 21, then talk to me. Then talk to me. When you get to 13, holler at me. When you get to 13, holler at me. 3 years. 3 years. I got t-shirts older than 3 years. 3 whole years. I was gonna say I have an underwear that is older than 3 years, but I don't. I typically recycle that shit at least every year, so I can't say that. But 3 years, I curse. Damn it, Lord, forgive me for my brash delivery. Thank you. So thank you, Kevin. Appreciate you. I really appreciate this entertaining departure. This is a lot of fun. He says we dated 5 years first. Okay, so you 8 years in the game. Okay. But dating and marriage is two different things. Did y'all live together? If y'all wasn't living together, that's a whole different thing. But I give you. I know y'all secure. I can see it. I wish you nothing but the best. Hashtag Black Love. But 3 years, y'all. I love it. I love it. I love it, man. That's going to be a beautiful thing, though. You'll get there. You'll see it. And you're going to look back. He writes, hands off Jerica, bro. I ain't messed. That's my sis right there. I ain't going to never put no heavy hands on Jerica. Ever. She don't deserve that. Tracy over here. You ain't got nothing else to say, Tracy? Now, you deep in the game, too, now. I need all the people that's past 20 years to stand up and say something. Don't just sit this out. Lemmy writes, my former vice president boss told me years ago, after 19 years, it's a business. You are vested. No, marriage is a business from day one. Marriage is the business of long-term cohabitation as humans. That's what marriage is. Marriage is a business. Y'all should be growing your wealth together. Wealth building. It's a business. It's the business of long-term cohabitation. Anybody that tells you anything other than that, don't know what they're talking about, don't listen to them. That's exactly what it is. If you want to strengthen your bond with your spouse, then make money together. Go buy property together. Start investing, building your wealth together. That'll bring y'all together in a synergy like no other. It'll be deeper than sex. It'll be deeper than sex. Tracy writes, I'm Team Jerica. Of course you are. Of course you are, Tracy. Why am I not surprised by that? Darlene writes, Virgos don't cheat. That's a lie. Virgos don't cheat. Virgos don't cheat. Greg writes, good morning, Choppers. Let me see. So, Nate, you don't have a problem with your wife laying with thinking about Cali Muscle? I don't have a problem with my wife thinking about whatever the hell she want to think about. I'm not in her thoughts. She can think and fantasize about any person, any body she want to. I don't give a damn because I'm not going to ask her about it. Thinking about, I don't care. You can't control somebody's thoughts. Is that what y'all doing in y'all marriages? Controlling people's thoughts? Oh, dear Lord. No wonder marriages is not working. You can't control somebody's thoughts. I don't care what that woman thinks about. She can think about whatever she needs to think about to get her through her difficult day is what she needs to think about. I don't care. Makes no difference to me whatsoever. I have never even thought about it. Damn, people think about that? Laying thinking about Cali. I don't even know what Cali Muscle is, but she can think about, fantasize, daydream, anything she wants to. I don't care. That's sick, bro. I'm gonna tell you what's sick, yo, is trying to control another adult's thoughts. Huh? You know what I'm saying? That what you're doing in marriages? Trying to control people's thoughts? What do I look like asking that grown woman about what she's thinking about? Unless she's thinking about me, that's all I care about. You need help, Nate? Yeah, I do. I do need help. Damn, that's what y'all out here doing? Controlling people's thoughts? Sick. Talking about thank you. Looking for validation. See, I don't need validation, Jerica. I'm always Team Tracy. Y'all are so much fun. This has been a great departure from what we was talking about in the last 15 minutes. I appreciate it, Jerica. This is a lot of fun here. Y'all out here trying to control y'all spouse's thoughts? Oh my God. You talk about a dead end. You can't control what somebody else is thinking? I never even thought about it. I don't want to think about it. I got better things to think about than trying to control another person's thoughts. Thoughts? Again, whatever my wife needs to think about to get through her difficult day. Number one, she got to live with me, so you know it's a difficult task. You know that. So, say a couple prayers for sis off the top because she lives with me, and I'm a Virgo, OCD a little bit, The whole 9 yards. Okay, she got to live with me, and she have children with me. Can you imagine that? So just say a prayer for sis, okay, off the top, right? But then she's a very busy woman, very serious woman that's got a lot of responsibilities. Whatever she needs to do that brings her, whatever she needs to get through moment to moment, whatever, that's great. Go right ahead. I don't think shit else about it. TC writes, been married 12 years, relationship on and off 33 years. And yes, it's a stepping stone and builder every day. Yes, it is. I told you, I asked about that video. You look weak and intimidated, came off confused. Nah, I think you was projecting, bro. I think you come off it. You must think that you're weak. You must be easily intimidated. And you must be confused. You got me twisted. That ain't nothing like me, bro. I think sometimes when people see things, they project themselves into it. And I think that's what you was doing, bro. 100%. Trust me. You see, Iris writes, 12 years in, and I love him now like I loved him then. I love my wife differently. My love and my thoughts for my wife is much more realistic at these days. Much more realistic. Hold on one second. I think my allergies are popping up. So give me 1 second here. Wipe my nose just a little bit. Oh, there it is. Think I'm better. Think I'm looking good. Yeah, it's different. It's different now. It's way deeper. It's much more deeper and realistic than what it was. Like I don't have any fantasies about what marriage is and what my role is. It's just different. It's different. But I hear you. 27. Shh. Damn. I let her be her. You know what I'm saying? Without my insecurities and all that kind of shit. She's her own person. And we choose to be together as long as we choose to be together. And that's it. You know, it's much different. It's much deeper than what it was when we first got together. But that's because you go through ups and downs and go through a bunch of stuff. Some that she calls, some that I call, some that the world calls, that the universe causes. And when you decide to stay together through that, it just makes you look at each other differently. I can't speak for her, just speaking for me. She writes, but that comes with growth and understanding. Horrible response. You said the kid was I wouldn't call him a kid. He was a man, was peacocking. You saw him and thought, damn, I was that. No, brother, that's just not what. I don't know where you're getting this from, man. Again, you're projecting. A lot of people do that. A lot of adults do this. They project their fears and insecurities in the way they would think in a situation onto other people. I'm not you, brother, but I appreciate your opinion. You're entitled to it. But no, wrong, completely wrong. You read that wrong. Yeah, I don't know why. That's his thing. He's entitled to his thing. It brings something to the show from time to time. This has been an interesting departure. I did not plan on talking about this. Thank you to Jerica. Appreciate that. Because we need to talk about this. Maybe not. But again, if it draws attention back to that video, you go check it out and share it. Share it in as many places as possible because again, really and truly, my spirit was to teach. You know, have some fun as well, but my spirit was to teach. Yeah, okay. You're entitled to your opinion, brother. Think what you want to think. Think what you want to think. I can't stop you from thinking that. Yeah, look it up. He said, let the dog out. I don't know. He can think whatever he wants to think. You just can't think and speak for me. I'm very capable of telling you how I feel about it. And I try to be as honest as possible. And I tell you, I mean, if I felt some kind of way about it, I would say I felt some kind of way about it. But I have no reason to. There was no reason to. So that's just how I look at it. Let me see. What's the name of the video? The name of the video was, I was asking women, and that's what's so funny about it because you got men responding to it, but I was asking women what they would do in that situation. So I think it was called Really, Ladies, How Would You Handle This? That's what it's called. It was streamed 3 days ago. So you can check it out if you want. Got about 100 views on it. Not too many, but check it out. Check it out for yourself. It's called Really, Ladies, What Would How would you handle this? And again, I've just told you everything in the video, so you can check it out for yourself and tell me what you think. Let me see. Jericho writes, look on the friends page. Is it there? I think I posted it there as well, so you might have to scroll back a bit. But I think the easiest way would just go to YouTube. It's only about 4 days removed, so it should be right there on that first row. And it's called Really? Ladies, what would you do? Because I was interested in what women would do in that situation. Like, do you think somebody coming at you like that would be a turn on? Would it be flattering? So that was part of my interest. And then the other interest was to teach less experienced brothers on the art of dealing with women. Charles writes, good morning, wonderful people. Hey, good to see you, Charlie Winburn. Good to see you, as always. Maxine writes, many women manipulate situations, like tell people something to plant ideas and vice versa. Yeah, that's true. That definitely happens. So listen, man, this is a little bit longer than I anticipated. I appreciate the conversation this morning. Thank you for being here. My plan is to be back and hopefully better than ever tomorrow morning, and we'll chop it up on people, politics, and pleasure. I'm chasing more interviews with political candidates. All right, so stay for that. I got a couple of requests out for authors of some very interesting books as well. So any of that could come through here within the next 24 hours, and I'll let you know. What I will tell you is that coming up today at 1 p.m., midweek juice with Ask Ashley. That's the cover art right there. She got a message from a woman who is dealing with basically an ex that won't stay in her lane. So that'll be at 1 p.m. You can watch the stream live right here on Facebook. Have an excellent rest of your day, family. Remember our motto: winners focus on winning, and losers focus on winners. So stay focused and stay winning, and we'll catch up real soon. Until next time, I'm Nathan Ivy, and I'm out.
Good morning, Choppers. I'm Scotty Johnson, candidate for Cincinnati City Council. Unfortunately, injustice remains in the city of Cincinnati. A remedy for injustice is courageous, bold leadership. I plan on bringing that type of leadership to City Hall. It's time to stop talking about it and to start doing something about it. Disparities have been in Cincinnati far too long. I'm the candidate to address those disparities. Vote Scotty Johnson for Cincinnati City Council.
Can't sleep.
It's hard to pay attention in school.
I say mean things.
I keep getting in trouble.
I bully other kids.
I'm just scared.
No one sees my pain.
Sometimes I want to die.
So many of our children are facing trauma, but instead of seeing their pain and fear, we're labeling them bad, troubled, delinquent, or criminal. Let's look beyond their behaviors. Let's get them the help they need by helping them address the trauma they're facing.
Help me feel safe.
See me for more than my behaviors.
Understand that my actions are how I communicate my fears.
For more information, visit www.ohiostateofemergency.com. That's ohiostateofemergency.com.